that they're confident with. They've kind of brought Sumo in, and then they might be looking like a strong team again. It's so hard to say. This team is so volatile.
They're volatile, and they're a TI team. They've said this time and time again, and we'll get a chance to listen to No-Tail in this interview that may just say more of the same thing. Let's take a look.
Where are we at now? Well, we're not at TI yet, but we are going to do our best to get to our best, and if we get to our best, I'm sure we'll be at TI, but you know, the goal is always to become as good as you can be and be the top contender and win TI is always the goal.
Has to run. He's very right now. RTW is standing in the road.
On this island?
You're stuck on this island. You can't do NP teleportation.
I want NP's teleport.
No, you
that's
can't
what
do
I
that.
was
You
thinking.
can't do that. It's cheating.
I can't have NP's teleport.
You can't have NP
Okay,
teleport.
can I have relocate so I can
No.
like temporarily
You're
dip
stuck
out,
on
grab
the
some more
island.
stuff, come back?
The whole world is an island.
Oh. No, I want
All right.
NP's third spell.
Third. Wow.
You can mull it over for a little bit as we start to talk about Gambit. Yeah, No-Tail said they're a TI team, not yet TI yet. Those are the expectations. Gambit, on the other hand, I don't even know what their expectations are. I don't think they even knew their expectations for the ANA major. They have two players either leave or kicked or swapped, whatever the situation was. They show up to the ANA major with a slightly different roster, and it did not go well for them.
It didn't, but I still think they were the one team that impressed me the most at the major. Because even though they came dead last in the wildcards, they were able to take draws against these teams that looked pretty good. And you have to remember, they lost SUNECO, they lost no one. These are two world-class players in the region that just completely dipped out the team before the major. And that is kind of like, that alone, it hurts. They brought in Lauren-F, they brought in BZZ, and they looked commanding. Coming into this tournament, they've kept Lauren-F, BZZ isn't playing, but they're now playing with Aina. Aina used to play on like Gambit before they brought in SUNECO and the lads, and they created that kind of Gambit 1, Gambit 2 thing. So I think it's putting them in the right position. They're getting players that they trust and aren't going to, ditch them if they have a bad result. And I think that is what you need in a team. So I'm excited to see them.
And we will also get a chance to see some insight from Afterlife in another video. Let's take a look.
Coming out from the start by SM Gambit. They've got the numbers. They'll bring down Shash though.
is popping off.
And now they'll be able to get G as well.
Hello, I'm Afterlife. I'm a player for Gambit Esports. For Major, our team leave two members. It's Sonika and No One. We was going to find new teammates, and we was going just to play Dota on Major without any expectations. We have energy to prove what we can still play without them. It can be
Teleportation. Teleportation seems a little OP. Relocate seems a little bit OP. Ghost ship. Yeah, I guess I'll take that answer.
But technically it doesn't work, right? Because it's going to be an allied ghost ship, so he's not going to move with it. So he's going to try and jump on the
true.
boat and just fall straight into the sea.
You do get the rum buff though. So
He is going to have plenty of rum on this
It's going
island.
to be
That's good.
wasted. Yeah, and I guess this is the difference between two significant teams. Like OG and Gambit, they're on two sides of the spectrum here, Curtis.
Yeah, I think OG, if you look at them as a team, I mean, they're the 2x defending TI champions. So OG as a team, they're trying to prove that they're still at the top. That's what they're coming to this tournament to do. That's what they're coming to the TI quads to do. I think Gambit are sort of on the other side where they had 2 players leave because perhaps the 2 players didn't think they would be able to succeed on this team. So they're trying to prove that they can contend at all. It's sort of interesting because both of them, you can sort of feel the passion. They both really want to win, but it's 2 opposing ideas.
Yeah, and now I'm sure you at home are waiting to see what heroes we're even going to be picking for this. Going to go to a quick break, and when we return, the draft for the first game in this entire tournament. We'll be right back. soccer? T, please explain it to me.
So it's like some lads on a pitch, they
Yeah.
kick a ball into a net, and the ball goes in the net.
'Kay.
Congratulations, you win the game. Or multiple times, you have to have the most balls in the nets. That's about it.
Interesting.
really exciting.
But there are
It's
situations
riveting.
in which sometimes neither team gets a single ball in the net, and then the game still ends. What's up with that?
That's why esports is better, because it forces a winner, unless we play best of twos, and that's why that won't be a thing anymore.
It's a group stage thing, but not in this tournament.
Yeah,
there
but
isn't.
that's why this tournament we don't have it, because it's a bit boring group stage, and we just have double elims, simple. You play, you win, you lose, you're out, type of thing. This is double elims, you have 2 lives. It's so much better. I don't like group stages unless it's like a big group stage. I love like the old classic, everyone play everyone, really test
Swiss.
test your medal, see what's
No,
happening.
not even Swiss, like the TI4.
Yep, there it is.
Like you have 16 teams, you all play 2 games against each other. That was insane. Yeah,
That's what
very
we want.
fun.
Bring back more Dota.
Did you actually like that as a player?
it's pretty fun actually.
Really?
Yeah, you get to play everyone. It's sort of weird because like at some tournaments you have 2 groups, and whoever gets the team that sets the meta, that group does significantly better.
True.
So it's like less luck based, I think.
Yeah, I think at the Animator, a lot of people were pointing at the fact that since Nigma and LGD got to play each other so early on, they were at the forefront of that meta, and I guess group stage does play a part in that, for sure. What else? Was there any other meta-defining teams? T1 apparently played a lot of LGD, and they kept stomping LGD, because there was a Shao 8 interview, as we now have the draft beginning, but yeah, there was a Shao 8 interview where apparently I read that T1 was stomping LGD consistently, and then LGD had a talk together and turned things around.
That sounds like LGD. Sometimes you just see them huddled together, and Xiao would just be yelling.
Yeah.
I asked Jack from KBBQ from Quincy Crew like what he was saying, and he would say like the simple things even, just yell about everything like why are you getting caught out of position here? You need to play more backline. So that's sort of interesting.
And you may need to play some more Lion. Lion, I'm hearing, is terrorizing pubs. Either it's always banned, always picked, as we see the first phase picks and bans. Nyx Assassin picked up by OG, and of course the Animator trend continues with DK on Gambit.
I will say, just for the viewers, this the graphic is a little bit wrong right now, because of course Nyx was, let's sit here, it is. This is our solution. Bam.
Bam.
I was worried we'd keep that, and I was going to do a little PSA, but no. Okay, we got first pick Nyx.
Wait, what was the problem?
It was the they had Nyx as second pick when it was the first pick.
I see.
But it's fine. We're in the game now. We fixed that problem. I think the main thing here is the fact that for OG, this is a team where you don't really have any information on them. They played 25 days ago in DPC, where they survived the tiebreakers to survive Division 1. And since then it's kind of been behind closed doors, and that's where playing against them is a bit scary. You see that Gambit's first ban, it is going to be, this hoodwink. They played this on Satsuka and 4, but Topson, he has been fiending this in his pubs and at the tail end of DPC as a mid hoodwink, trying to play this kind of assassin style in mid lane.
It does look quite good. I watched a couple of Topson's pubs on it because I didn't think the hero was that good, and he just rushes Aghanims. Sometimes even like no boots Aghanim I saw one game. Usually he gets just brown boots, and it's strong. That spell's super underrated. But I think OG right now, you can see this Leshrac pick, I think it's high value for them. They took the Nyx so that the other team couldn't take it against their Leshrac. I think it was part of it. It's also just a strong hero. But I know Sumail really likes this hero as position 1. And I'm sure Topson plays at position 2.
And also probably Seb plays it in position 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if Saxa played Leshrac.
Everyone's playing Leshrac.
Yeah, no, it's a very flexible pick. I mean, and I think this Dragonite hero, it fell off a bit at the end of the Animator. We saw LGD, they were trying to counter it with Undying, but even after that, in the finals, like, I don't think it got high priority in picks or bans.
Mm-hmm. This is where I hope, like, even though the major just ended, a tournament meta really kind of comes, apparent. The Timbersaws, the Lions, the DKs, the Wyverns, the healing concepts. I hope that this tournament is kind of a breath of fresh air where we've moved away from one tournament meta. The new teams coming in, they have their own ideas, and then we aren't just going to see the kind of the same development. And kind of Gambit, they're sticking. Of course, they played at the major, so they're kind of aligning themselves with the tournament meta, where OG has kind of moved slightly to the side.
And this sort of reminds me of the DPC meta in China, actually, right? Because in the Chinese region, people they would first pick Nyx just to block the enemy team from getting Leshrac.
Yep.
And then Nyx Leshrac, I think this is like the most high-valued opening. People would just ban out a Nyx just so you couldn't do this.
Especially if you had first pick, because then Broodmother was almost always certainly banned. It was always those 2 bugs. And the only thing that's a little bit surprising is that they first phase the Leshrac. China would usually ban out the Nyx or pick the Nyx and then linger until second phase. But like you guys mentioned, there's so much flex potential for this Leshrac 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 position. because we're seeing how good that shard can be under any farm priority.
If you can create a scenario where Leshrac doesn't get stunned and bursted, because DK Lion, they have a lot of stuns, but honestly, other than Finger, they're very low damage. He can just terrorize a fight. He'll just run in. I expect him to pick some OG. I see Nota. I think of some save heroes, you know, Io, Abaddon.
Some Oracle.
Yeah. If you get one of these three heroes, Leshrac can just run in and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they ban out the Wyvern, and that was one of the most common pairings with the Animajor Leshrac.
Yeah, Gambit really just opening up the major playbook and just kind of taking off the boxes of the Grand Finals right now with these picks.
To be fair though, Terrorblade is very good against both Nyx and Leshrac, I'd say.
True.
I think when you're thinking of Leshrac, you're thinking about how this hero can run into the fight. If he cannot run in and commit, he cannot do any damage. Terrorblade's a hero where if he pops meta and you try to run in on him, you're just going to die.
Yeah.
The thing about Nyx versus Terrorblade is that Terrorblade pushes all the lanes that Nyx is supposed to provide kill threat on with illusions. So a lot of your skill set is countered just by merit of the lanes being pushed.
I guess as well, people might think that Leshrac is a counter to Terrorblade, but early on, maybe with the kind of run at you, but as soon as Terrorblade gets to like SMY Dragonlance +1, like he just stands still and he just instantly right-clicks you down.
Another flex hero getting picked up for OG. I don't think 3-position ET saw too much play at the Animajor.
He got played once.
He got played once, I think, by a Chinese team, or was it...
I don't remember, but he had Midas Glimmer Cape, and it
It was
right.
the solo offlane game.
Yeah, it looked really bad.
Yeah, I can't remember what team it was.
I don't think ET is actually good versus Terrorblade, so I don't know about this pick. The idea is that we'll have enough team fight to back up our Leshrac. The reason why I don't think ET is good against Terrorblade is because it's very hard to get into melee range to remove that physical armor, and if you use Reflection, you get the aura back on you and your team. However, I really like this idea from OG, where this seemed like the thing at the major, right? You pick SC, Grimstroke, and Darkseer against Terrorblade, and you use his own strength against him.
Exactly. You create that illusion and you just kind of A-click it on him, or even, you don't even A-click it on him, you A-click it on this like poor Clockwork or Lion who's just walking beside the fight and this random illusion just comes and smacks you down. But yeah, OG fully going for fight. They can't really flex Leshrac to the end of the draft because they're not second pick, so they're going to have to decide what's happening here. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a Leshrac carry, putting more emphasis on maybe Thompson in the mid lane.
This is the best Clockwork game I've ever seen.
It's very good.
It's very good versus all 4 of those heroes. If he gets a little bit of farm priority and he can get to a Blade Mill, I can see him destroying this game.
Yeah, Nyx right now doesn't have a free game. He doesn't have that instant int hero that he's blowing up. And Gambit's lineup is all about just kind of playing in pairs. And Lion is one of the best counters to Nyx because you have the Hex to stun him through Carapace. You can then layer your stun after. And just the idea of Gambit's lineup is you play your lanes and then you just play behind your DK pushing towers, or you protect your jungle as TB accelerates his way to that 2-3 item timing.
Yeah, if Gambit are able to group up, this Nyx just turns into a stun in team fights. That's all he really contributes.
I guess you have ET to kind of bridge that. So if Gambit is running around as a group for towers, the ET turnaround, that kind of sleep, the Echo Stomp, we saw that as well, the major, the beautiful 4-5 man Echo Stomp from Fly turned into a split. Like, that's the scenario OG probably plays for.
They did lose that game on EG, but it did look good, right?
It was a
The
pretty
ET looked
play.
good.
All right, we don't have to remind everyone that EG lost a major, right?
Context
It's
is
too
relevant.
soon. It's been like 3 days.
OG banning out a handful of mid laners. They're expecting this DK to, I guess, be in the offlane position. And Gambit banning out a Pugna.
Yes, and now, they're respecting Thompson, right? So the idea,
so, yeah.
This is carry Leshrac for Sumo, and now what is that extra little something that pushes through and just wins you the game with this kind of skirmishing fight? A Pugna would be great.
I like this idea of banning Pugna though, because you can see they're thinking about the meta beyond just the major.
Yeah.
Because no one really used Pugna to counter Terrorblade, but it is one of the traditional counters. High magical burst, save it versus physical. Good for Terrorblade.
I think Ember might be another warranted ban here. We've seen this as well, just kind of you play your lane and then you instantly run into the jungle. I think that's what OG lacks right now, is the hero that can just run into the jungle and poke the hero. Sure,
Especially with the Iron Shot, right?
yeah, exactly, yeah. And that's why I think, obviously the double value of that.
Is there any reason why you...
OG's turn to ban. Radiant team ban.
Welcome back, everybody, for the volleyball match of the century. Pow! Playing with
OG's
football.
turn to ban.
We've been in Sweden. I guess we've been in Europe in general. Everyone's really hyped up on the Euro 2021. Curtis, do you watch any traditional sports?
I do not.
Yeah, neither do I.
This is a bad segue. Yeah, our conversation's done.
This works for me because I was gonna be like, I don't see the big hype about football. Soccer.
5
T,
seconds
please explain it
remaining.
to me.
So it's like some lads on a pitch,
Yeah.
kick a ball into a net, and the ball goes in the net.
Okay.
Congratulations, you win the game. Or multiple times, you have to have the most balls in the nets. That's about it.
Interesting.
really exciting.
But there are situations in which sometimes neither team gets a single ball in the net, and then the game still ends. What's up with that?
That's why esports is better. It forces a winner, unless we play best of twos, and that's why
Radiant team ban.
that won't be a thing anymore.
It's a group stage thing. But no, in this tournament,
Yeah,
there's
but
no
that's
group
why this tournament we don't have it, because it's a bit boring group stage, and we just have double elims, simple. You play, you win, you lose, you're out, type of thing. This double elims, you have 2 lives. It's so much better. I don't like group stages unless it's like a big
10
group stage. I love like the
seconds
old classic, everyone play everyone, really
OG,
test
Swiss.
yeah, test your medal, see what's
Well,
happening.
not even Swiss, like the TI4.
Yep, there it is.
Like you have 16 teams, you all play 2 games against each other. That was insane.
That's
Very
what we want.
fun.
Bring back more Dota.
Did you actually like that as a player?
Yeah, it's pretty fun, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you get to play everyone. It's sort of weird because like at some tournaments you have 2
remaining.
groups, and whoever gets the team that sets a meta, that group does significantly better.
True.
5
So it's like less
seconds
luck based, I
remaining.
think.
Yeah, I think at the Animator, a lot of people
Radiant
were
team pick.
pointing at the fact that since Enigma and LGD got to play each other so early on, they were at the forefront of that meta, and I guess group stage does play a part in that, for sure. What else? Was there any other meta-defining teams? T1 apparently played a lot of
10 seconds
LGD, and they kept
remaining.
stomping LGD, because there was a Shao 8 interview, as we now have the
5
draft beginning, but yeah, there was a
seconds
Shao 8 interview where apparently I read that T1 was stomping LGD consistently, and LGD had a talk together and turned things around.
That sounds like OGD. Sometimes you just see them huddled together and Xiao would just be yelling.
Yeah.
I asked Jack from KBBQ from Quincy Crew like what he was saying, and he would say like the simple things even, just yell about everything. Like, why are you getting called out of position here? You need to play more backline. That's sort of interesting.
And you may need to play some more Lion. Lion, I'm hearing, is terrorizing pubs. Either it's always banned, always picked, as we see the first phase picks and bans. Nyx Assassin picked
10
up by
seconds
OG,
remaining.
and of course, the Animator trend continues with DK on Gambit.
5
I will say,
seconds
just for the
remaining.
viewers, this the graphic is a little bit wrong right now because, of course, Nick was let's sit here. It is. This is our solution. Bam.
Bam.
I was worried we'd keep that, and I was gonna do a little PSA, but no. Okay, we got the first pick, Nyx.
Wait, what was the problem?
It was the they had Nyx's second pick when it was the first pick.
Ah, so
But it's fine. We're in the game now. We fixed that problem. I think the main thing here is the fact that for OG, this is a team where you don't really have any information on them. They played 25 days ago in DPC, where
10
they survived the
seconds remaining.
tiebreakers to survive Division 1. And yeah, since then it's kind of been behind
5
closed doors, and that's
seconds
where
remaining.
playing against them is a bit scary. You see that Gambit's first ban, it is going to be, this hoodwink. They played this on Satsuko and 4, but Topson, he has been fiending this in his pubs and at the tail end of DPC as a mid hoodwink, trying to play this kind of assassin style of mid lane.
It does look quite good. I watched a couple of Thompson's pubs on it because I didn't think the hero was that good, and he just rushes Aghanims. Sometimes even like no boots Aghanim this whole one game. Usually he gets just brown boots, and it's strong. That spell's super underrated. I think OG
10
right now, you
seconds
can see
remaining.
this Leshrac pick. I think it's high value for them. They took the Nyx so that the other team couldn't
5
take against their
seconds
Leshrac. I think that's
remaining.
part of it. It's also just a strong hero. But I know Sumail really likes this hero as position 1.
Yeah,
And I'm sure
exactly that.
Thompson plays at position 2.
And also probably Seb plays it in position 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if Saxa played Leshrac. I mean,
Everyone's playing Lashrac.
yeah, no, it's a very flexible pick. I mean, and I think this Dragonite hero, it fell off a bit at the end of the Animator. We saw LGD, they were trying to counter it with Undying, but even after that, in the finals, like, I don't think it got high priority in picks or bans.
This is where I hope, even though the major just ended, a tournament meta really kind of comes, apparent. The
5
Timbersaws, the Lions, the
seconds
DKs, the
remaining.
Wyverns,
Team back.
the healing concepts. I hope that this tournament is kind of a breath of fresh air where we've moved away from one tournament meta. The new teams coming in, they have their own ideas, and then we aren't just going to see the kind of the same development. And kind of Gambit, they're sticking. Of course, they played at the major, so they're kind of aligning themselves with the tournament meta, where OG has kind of moved slightly to the side.
10 seconds
And this sort of
remaining.
reminds me of the DPC meta in China, actually, right? Because
Yeah.
in the Chinese
5
region,
seconds
people
remaining.
they would first pick Nyx just to block the enemy team from getting
Radiant
Leshrac. And the
team
Nyx
back.
Leshrac, I think this is like the most high-valued opening. People would just ban on a Nyx just so you couldn't do this.
Especially if you have first pick, because then Broodmother was almost always certainly banned. It was always those 2 bugs. And the only thing that's a little bit surprising is that they first phase the Leshrac. China would usually ban out the Nyx or pick the Nyx and then linger until
10
second
seconds
phase.
remaining.
But like you guys mentioned, there's so much flex potential for this Leshrac 1, 2, 3,
5 seconds
maybe even 4
remaining.
position. because we're seeing how good that shard can be under any farm priority.
If you can create a scenario where Leshrac doesn't get stunned and bursted, because DK Lion, they have a lot of stuns, but honestly, other than Finger, they're very low damage. He can just terrorize a fight. He'll just run in. I expect him to pick some OG. I see Nota. Think of some save heroes, Io, Abaddon.
Some
Radiant
Yeah.
team
You get one of these three heroes, Leshrac could just run in and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they banned out the Wyvern, and that was one of the most common pairings with the Animajor Leshrac.
Yeah, Gambit really just opening up the major playbook and just kind of ticking off the boxes of the grand finals right now with these picks.
To be fair though, Terrorblade is very good against both Nyx and
Yes,
Leshrac,
that
I'd
is
say.
true.
I think when you're thinking of Leshrac, you're thinking about
10
how this hero
seconds
can run
remaining.
into the fight. If he cannot run in and commit, he cannot do any damage. Terrorblade's a hero where if he
5
pops meta and you try to
seconds
run in on
remaining.
him, you're just going to die.
Yeah.
The thing about Nyx versus Terrorblade is that Terrorblade pushes all the lanes that Nyx is supposed to provide kill to them with
Radiant
illusions.
team
So a lot of your skill set is countered just by merit of the lanes being pushed.
I guess as well, people might think that Leshrac is a counter to Terrorblade, but early on, maybe with the kind of run at you, but as soon as Terrorblade gets to like SMY Dragonlance +1, like he just stands still and he just instantly right clicks you down.
Another flex hero getting picked up for OG. I don't think
10
3-position ET
seconds
saw
remaining.
too much play at the
He got
Animajor.
played once.
He got played once, I think, by a Chinese team, or
5 seconds
it-
remaining.
I don't remember, but he had Midas Glimmer Cape, and it,
Yeah,
looked-
it
that's
was the
right.
solo offlane game.
yeah, it looked really bad.
Yeah, I can't remember
I
what
don't
team
think
it was.
I don't think ET is actually good versus Terrorblade, so I don't know about this pick. The idea is that we'll have enough team fight to back up our Leshrac. The reason why I don't think ET is good against Terrorblade is because it's very hard to get into melee range to remove that physical armor, and if he uses Reflection, you get the aura back on you and your team. However, I really like this idea from OG, where they're I mean, this seemed like the thing at the major, right? You pick SC, Grimstroke, and Darkseer against Terrorblade, and you use his own strength against him.
Exactly. You create that illusion and you just kind of A-click it on him, or even you don't even A-click it on him, you A-click it on this like poor
10
Clockwork or
seconds
Lion who's just
remaining.
walking beside the fight, and this random illusion just comes and smacks you down. But yeah,
5
OG fully
seconds
going
remaining.
for fight. They can't really flex Leshrac to the end of the draft because they're not second pick. So they're going to have to decide what's happening here. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a Leshrac carry, putting more emphasis on maybe Topson in the mid lane.
This is the best Clockwork game I've ever seen.
It's very
I think
good.
it's very good versus all four of those heroes. If he gets a little bit of farm priority and he can get to a blade mill, I can see him destroying this game.
Yeah, Nyx right now doesn't have a free game. He doesn't have that instant int hero that he's blowing up. And Gambit's lineup is all about just kind of playing in pairs. And Lion is one of the best counters to Nyx because you have the Hex to stun him through Carapace. You can then layer your stun after. And just the idea of Gambit's lineup is you play your lanes and then you just
5
play behind your
seconds
DK
remaining.
pushing towers, or you protect your jungle as TB accelerates his way to that 2-3 item timing.
Yeah, if Gambit and they are able to group up, this Nyx just turns into a stun in a team fights. That's all he really contributes.
I guess you have ET to kind of bridge that. So if Gambit is running around as a group for towers, the ET turnaround, that kind of sleep, the Echo Stomp, we saw that as well as a major, the beautiful 4-5 man
Radiant team
Echo Stomp
back.
from Fly turned into a split. Like that's the
They lost
scenario
that game.
OG probably plays for.
They did lose that game on EG, but it did look good, right?
It was a
The
pretty
EG looked
play.
good.
All right,
Yeah.
we don't have to remind everyone that EG lost a major, right?
Context
It's
is
too
relevant.
soon. It's been like 3 days.
OG banning out a handful of mid laners. They're expecting this DK to, I guess, be in the
10
offlane position.
seconds remaining.
And Gambit banning out a Pugna.
Ah, yes, and now,
5
yeah, they're respecting
seconds
Topson,
remaining.
right? So the idea,
so, yeah.
this is carry Leshrac for Sumo, and now what is that extra little something that pushes through and just wins you the game with this kind of skirmishing fight? A Pugna would be great.
I like this idea of banning Pugna though, because you can see they're thinking about the meta beyond just the major.
Yeah.
Because no one really used Pugna to counter Terrorblade, but it is one of the traditional counters. High magical burst, save it first physical. Good for Terrorblade.
I think Ember might be another warranted ban here. We've seen this as well, just kind of you play your lane and then you instantly run into the jungle. I think that's what OG lacks right now, is the hero that can just run into the jungle and poke the hero. Sure.
Especially with the Iron Shell, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And that's why I think, yeah, obviously the double value of that.
Is there any reason why you guys are favoring this Leshrac as a one position as opposed to a mid laner?
Sumo, that's literally it. I think that's just the factor that he brings, and also if you look at like kind of Topson's pubs in history, like he's not really been the Lesh specialist.
Right.
I think if anything, this Leshrac was a flex between
Jeez, turn to
offlane and
pick.
carry.
I wouldn't mind them playing at mid. It's just
Yeah.
the carry pool is a bit hard to play with the ET5 if you want to melee carry. Like Juggernaut's okay, but ET Juggernaut's like not that good a lane, I would say. I wouldn't actually mind a Juggernaut pick or some aggressive
fair.
carry. They need something aggressive this game. I don't think you want to try to scale
10 seconds
against the
remaining.
Terrorblade DK Lion. You do have Darkseer, so you have some potential, but I think OG
5
as a team
seconds
are very
remaining.
comfortable playing
Topson
more
talking.
aggressive.
We should do the analysis here. If he's moving his lips,
He's chuckling.
It's not him. He's not talking
he's
enough.
not talking too much. Okay, all right. I just have to check now.
I mean, Gambit checked both their boxes. They ban out a carry with the Drow Ranger and they ban out the Pugna.
Thompson actually did play mid-draw as well during the DPC.
Really?
Yeah, it was...
Radiant
He just kind of
team
maxed stats, just played aggressive, and...
It looked pretty good too, right?
It did look pretty good. And this is now Pangolier. Oof!
Oh, he's been spamming that in pubs, I think, too.
Yeah, he's...
Hoodwink, Pangolier, and
Monkey King?
Monkey King.
Yeah, they're the big three.
Oh yeah, they're playing a lot of Monkey. You'll probably see that come out this series. Seb has been playing it a lot as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
10
Pangolier here.
seconds remaining.
The team fight you have, it's very nice versus meta. Like we mentioned, terribly when you meta, he wants to stand there and
5
hit people.
seconds remaining.
But if you roll onto him, he can't stand there. You have the disarm, always good. And again, it's an Iron Shell carrier. They don't have a traditional carry on OG, but they have the building damage and team fight to sort of close out the map and outscale them.
Gambit needs some kind of cheap wave clear right now, because the issue for them is Terrorblade pushing lanes with illusions will be instantly kind of mitigated from OG running around and killing quite quickly. And they don't have that easy way to get lanes out. And OG, they're going to push out lanes and run at you collectively. You know, Leshrac 1-2 items, Pangolier with, you know, just a javelin. They're going to be running around finding kills, and it's going to be an absolute onslaught if OG wants to win this game.
I think they should pick a different offlaner. Something that wins the lane. That's what I would think. Because I think DK does pretty well versus Pango.
Sure.
He'll farm well. If he leaves, you can pressure that tower. And the mid heroes that push out lanes, they're very susceptible to ganks. I'd be scared of it right now. Like you pick like a Lina, like you're gonna die to mid ganks.
You may
Okay,
now
they can push
select
that
your
actually
hero.
works.
Counter aggression.
It can push out the lanes without being picked off, which I like.
exactly.
I'm a bit concerned about the Nyx versus Puck matchup, but I think they're very confident in it.
This is OG's coming into this first game just with the mentality of we won TIs with just aggression, and now that we've got Sumal in, we're going to pick him a Leshrac and just fully go for it. This could either be an amazing game, or 20 minutes later they're already out the game because Terrorblade's, you know, fat as hell. So yeah, this is exciting.
They have sick vacuum combos. Every single hero can combo a vacuum on it.
That is so true. Oh my god.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see some special
how many
plays.
heroes do you think are going to get caught in a vacuum into then Lesh stun, into then impale, into a stomp?
Into the next Lesh stun from
Into the
Lesh shard.
I think they're gonna execute it. OT is a very high execution skill team.
This is beautiful stuff, because Gambit, they look very good at the major. They didn't get out of wildcards, but they still look consistent for the position they were put in. So this is the type of draft where kind of patience and confidence in each other, they delay the game long enough, their draft is going to be so strong. But for OG, it's just, they only think about themselves right now with this lineup. It's all about, can they perform, can they execute, because they can run over this game if they can.
Which way you leaning, Curtis? You think this mid Pango is Thompson getting a little too creative again, or it's just game one? It's just game one of the entire thing. He's
close.
He's got some time.
Good catch. I think OG as a team, how they draft and play is very execution based. If they don't have the players in sync, if they don't have the strategies ready, then they look sort of weaker than other European teams. But when they're firing, like they win 2 TIs. I think Sumail fits in with this very well. I think how OG play is also how Sumail thinks the game should be played. They played with him before. I think OG are going to take this one.
And we saw in grand finals of the Animajor this dichotomy between EG's lane dominance style versus Chinese teams in general, as LGD specifically, team fight execution and off-the-wall picks, bringing them a lot of success. I guess there's a little microcosm of that. Were you at all cooling off on Terrorblade after EG kind of didn't really do very much with it in grand finals?
It has its strengths and weaknesses. We'll see in the game shortly. You know, I hope to see it do well.
Works for me. I'm looking forward to seeing how OG perform with this fresh roster that may just bring back shades of early 2020. Let's pass it over to our casters, Suns fan and Lacoste.
Hello, Suns fan here with the one, the only Lacoste. I don't think we've actually gotten a
No, we worked, you know, maybe in 2017 together. You definitely did not expect this combo to happen. Not what you asked for, but here we are.
If, you know, some people are worried about this combo because I can go off on tangents from time to time. But I have to say, if your movie recommendations are any indication of how this will go, it's gonna
be good. Yeah, we were driving from the airport, talked about, you know, talked about the movies, and pretty much we have the similar taste in the movies.
Yep. It's nice to be able to talk to somebody that actually watches things and is cultured in life. So thank you for being
thank you very much. That's why I'm here. But to talk about the draft a bit.
Oh, sure.
Pango on a mid lane. We expected different things from OG, where this is their style. If you have Leshrac, if you have Dragonite in the team, you can allow to pick a mid laner who doesn't do any kind of tower damage. So that's a good thing. There's a lot of counter picking in this game. It feels like ASMONACO GAMBIT, they picked all the top tier picks from the last major. You have Lion, you have Dragonite, TB, Puck. These were the most played heroes with the high win rate. You have Lion against the Nyx Assassin, which is always going to be good. That instant hits can get the carapace off. You have Mana Drain against the Lashrak, drain his mana. You have also way to deal with the illusions, especially if you get that shard. Level 20. So much stuff happening here in this one, and yeah, last pick Puck, I really love it. You want someone to hold him in place so TB can deal the damage, and also silence, leash mechanic against the Pango, ruins the hero.
I'm a big Pango lover. I don't know if you know this, Luca,
I don't,
but
like
I'm glad
lover or a player?
Both.
Both, okay. Do you use quick cast when you play Pango?
I tried it, and it was the only hero that I did try it on. It was pretty good, but then I just went back to it because my settings kept resetting. Because Dota is still in beta.
Still in beta.
Yeah.
Website not in beta anymore.
That's true.
Game still in beta.
That is true. That is definitely true. But yeah, this should be a pretty good. I mean, this is Sumail's. I guess you could call it his reintroduction to OG. Yes. Played for position 1 for him for a while, but during the COVID restrictions, when it was in the thickest timeline, if you want to call it that, thickest. That's sure. We'll go with that. Not able to actually play with the team, but he was there with Liquid, and I guess it worked out for OG in the end, right?
Yeah, I mean, Sumail King back to mid lane, back to safe lane again. He's, in this game at least, playing mid laner, pretty much from the safe lane.
That's true, that's true.
He knows the hero. He, plays 110% off Lashrak, so yeah, let's hop into the game. Seems like we have...
Yeah, so the game was actually paused temporarily.
It wasn't us that wanted to talk, like these goddamn casters.
I talked to production and made sure that we could get a pause at the beginning of the game so that we could be, break the ice, as it were, Mr. Lacoste. But yeah, like you said, we'll be Thompson in the mid lane, and I am very excited to see, because you brought up the fact that he could go for the Echo Saber Diffusal build.
Yes, this is something that I heard. I've tried it. Looks... very strong. The double hit, the double proc gives you that tankiness. I've seen him play Pango and put 2 points in the Sheet Crash. It's 1-2-0 build, and then he puts more points in the Lucky Shot and the Swashbuckle Max, of course. With the Diffusal Blade, Diffusal Blade has been buffed. We've seen being built on different heroes, so I would not be surprised if he actually goes for that kind of a build.
Thank God there's another pause, because I want to catch up on more movie stuff. I'm just kidding. But yeah, tell me why the Echo Saber is good. Because does it proc on every single swashbuckle, or is it still the first proc?
No, it keeps procking. You attack
it doesn't
4
go on
times.
Cooldown either,
it doesn't put it on cooldown. Maybe something that will be fixed in the next patch. This is something that I don't like to talk about because I abuse Pango. I'm a Pango spammer. So please delete this SWAT. This didn't happen. I didn't say it.
Okay, that's good to know. I should have been pubbing. I mean, I've stopped playing it for a bit now, but gotta go back to that mid lane Pango, it seems.
I have the same feeling about the Pango and the Tusk. I feel the hero is super strong. It's just the teams that were winning were not picking the hero, and others are copying. That's what the Dota players are good at. Professional e-gamers, we copy other people's strats.
That's very true. I mean, if we look at the lineups as a whole, I mean, Gambit, obviously at the major, this is a major lineup, right? A lot of these heroes were picked a ton during the major, and then for OG, kind of a mix. We saw a couple Darkseer games, and like you said, I think Pango was completely unpicked. So seeing some different stuff from them, which I guess shouldn't be a surprise because, I mean, at the major at all.
Yeah, OG was not at the major, so they couldn't do the research. They can't open a Dota buff. They didn't know which heroes were played, so they're just playing their own meta.
Well, I feel like if you're watching the major from afar, you're judging people, right? And you see these teams that you've been playing against. A lot of the EU teams bombed out completely, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
So maybe they have better ideas, or at least think they have better ideas. So some trading of damage here between No-Tail and Afterlife. Actually, bottom lane, though. That is going to be first blood for Dream.
It's a super strong lane. I've seen it a lot of times in China. Clockwork position 5, paired up with the Terrorblade. It just feels super strong. You have someone to keep them in place. And now if you get the level 2 cogs, burn their mana or keep them in place, that first wave is very important for TB. Something that I like that I've seen some teams do when they're against Terrorblade. Get 3 people and just kill him during the meta, kind of ruin his first couple of minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's always nice having your ultimate available at level 1, of course. TB Classic. All right, Swashbuckler from Thompson. You see the Lucky Shot does connect on Lorna. I mean, what do you think of this matchup overall? Just Pango versus Puck. Not something we get to see all too often.
I would definitely prefer to play Puck in this type of a matchup. It's easier for Pango here with the introduction of the water runes. I don't think I've seen this matchup after the runes have been added. But yeah, he decides to put a different point because he's playing into Pango. Makes more sense. If he gets a point on a shield crash, might be in a bit of a trouble. So relying on that lucky shot, and it allows you to play a bit more aggressive. In his face, that's why it's called lucky shot. I don't know. I love Pango, but I dislike this part being RNG.
It's not really RNG if you swashbuckle. It's basically guaranteed, right? Pseudo RNG?
Almost, yeah.
But in the landing stage, yeah, it's completely lucky for sure.
Remember when it was a silence as well?
Yeah, it was many. I think it was every mechanic in the game at some point. The only thing I think it hasn't gone through status resistance.
Yeah, status resistance and bash.
We can get there at some point. Oh, Dragon Tail into the Earth Spike and in that afterlife of killing this top lane.
A bit overextended. Line was still level 1, but you can stun him for a long period of time. Dragon Tail plus Earth Spike, more than enough. And we see Sumail 1-1-1 build. Like, you want to have Lightning just to have an extra slow on top of Orb of Venom that ET has. It's a good set for a stun. I would assume he's going to put more points in Diabolic Edict, because this is where Hero, like, really shines.
I mean, I hate to go back to the Pango again.
No.
I'm very biased about the hero, okay? I find it to be the most fun hero in the game. And we don't get to see it very often, and it's Thompson, so it's like a trifecta. But against Puck, even in mid to late, it's pretty, like, if you get coiled, it feels pretty bad to be Pango here.
It
like,
really
you go
does.
for that, you go for like a Yules and try to get out of the coil with that
It's doable.
feature, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, you need to be, like, extremely skilled, or if you're rich enough, you can just upgrade that Yule Scepter, get the Wind Waker, break the coil.
We did see that item, I think, twice in the major, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a really good item in certain situations. It's just that it's super expensive. There are better choices pretty much every single time, but if you want to commit,
yeah, I think
okay.
the moving aspect to it is cool, but I feel like it's a little situational. It's more using it on teammates is super broken. But then again, if you're using it on teammates and you're the one buying it, that means you're a core probably, right? So you have to use it on
you want to use
you want to use it on yourself.
pretty much. Yes. Or you need to be a really good friend with that guy. Top lane, Sumail, getting his mana drained. So far so good for Gambit. Mid lane going relatively well. Off lane not so much. 5 CS on Dragonite. I expected him to have more CS there.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right. That's pretty brutal actually. I mean, they did
For a moment, I thought that was a position for Dragonite, that Lion is an off lane.
Dire's top
I mean, I've
tower
seen that
is under
before. It
attack.
hasn't been great. That's for sure. Is he going to get Dragon Tail off? Onto No Tail to start things out here. Into the Earth Spike as well, but don't think this is going to turn into any kind of a kill as No Tail does get the Echo Stomp. Sumail. No split Earth for another couple seconds here, but they're going to apply a lot of damage to Afterlife with that Diabolic Edict, but he's probably just going to be
He's
fine.
okay. He put another point in Dragon Blood, which means that he doesn't take that much damage from the physical.
Bottom
stab, one more hit will do the
Dire's
trick.
courier
Oh,
has been
Vision. All right,
killed.
Courier will take the sacrifice, and I guess OG takes that in the end. It's only 35 gold each, as opposed to whatever your life is worth these days, which depends on
more.
who you ask. But yeah, in terms of the CS, extremely even in the mid lane for the most part here. Bottom lane again, some more pressure. Cogs are going to push Soxa out. Gets off that spike carapace. And looks like he's going to be just fine. So 2 members of OG basically waddle back to their fountain. I don't know if you can call that the walk of shame, but it doesn't feel good.
Soxa's gonna deny himself.
Okay.
Thompson.
Neutrals. Oh, Lorenov. Yeah. See the Thompson ult coming out. Oh, nice waning rift to dodge it. Can he dodge it again is the question here. Nope, gonna connect into the right click for Thompson.
That was such a nice move. I don't think you should die to Puck. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit biased. You know, I don't want to
Buy a counter. Yeah.
Pango to get nerfed if I keep saying all the positive things. So
Nice sidestep here from Afterlife. Gets off the Dragon Tail as well, so No Tail in a bit of trouble, but we'll walk away from this. I mean, the big difference is Thompson was level 6 just barely before.
needs 1 CS.
Yeah, literally 1.
Like, he's actually level 6, but it's a bug not showing on the screen.
Yes. That is crazy. What?
And
That's
here
as
we
close
go.
as it gets. Yikes. Yeah, that feels pretty bad, but that's what happens when I get your top. I mean, he only has 1 deny, so just able to push out the waves a little bit faster to get that extra XP.
That was that 1 deny. 36 and 1 CS. 1 Pango. If he
literally
didn't have,
is, yeah.
have that deny, he would actually be able to live there.
Laying around.
Yeah, but overall, still relatively even to start things out here. Again, very
Dire's
excited to
middle
see
tower
exactly
is
what
under
Thompson
attack.
builds. It looks like it will be that Echo Saber like you were talking about.
Yeah, I love it.
Stone right now.
It's the build. You'll see how strong it is. Unfortunately, this is probably gonna get nerfed with the swashbuckle, not proccing it, applying slow on every single.
I mean, that's clearly a bug. Let's be honest.
Are scanning.
Although I would like to try it in one pub before this tournament ends. Lorinov is in Viz. Gets the loser orb off. Dragon into the follow, and yeah, that's going to be the first kill for Lorinov in that mid lane. For that mid laner, I should say.
A bit limited on tower damage. They need Leshrac to be able to push the towers. Pango does some with the Lucky Shot, has a Blightstone, but it's nothing too significant. So they need to play with the catapult timings.
Yeah, this will be meta in the jungle for Dream. Level 5 right now. Looks like Sox is going to try to leech a little bit of XP here. To go for a kill. All right, we have the Swashbuckle to follow as well. And of course, Dream, not level 6, won't get stunned anyways. This is going to be a nice kill for OG with that Rolling Thunder. It's actually going to connect an Ein as well. Soxa impaling in a couple seconds. See if they can turn this around on even more heroes. But Emergent has come to play as well. Cogs keeping Ein alive for now, but there's the shield crash. One more right click would do it, but Thompson can't quite catch up.
Doesn't have mana
up here.
Unfortunately, getting closer and closer to that Echo Saber. This is simple math. You hit him twice, double the chances of getting that Lucky Shot.
This is true. Oh, Echo Stomp into the Split Earth with Sumail's Pulse Nova doing a lot of work against Afterlife. He's going to get into the tree line, though. Has a pathway, but Lorinov is here. Doesn't have coil quite yet. Looks like the right clicks from No Tail. Oh, the coil comes out, though, so they might be able to get a trade here, but Lorinov all by himself, 1v2. Split Earth being faked. But more reinforcements in the form of Emergent end up getting the trade that definitely benefits game.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Hotel
is under
manages to
attack.
get out. This is second death on Sunmail. Needs to be a bit more careful, but at least Pango is having a really good time. Echo Saber about to be delivered. Now that I'm thinking about it, I see some synergy. Echo Saber, Echo Stomp. Maybe they needed a shaker on top of it.
Very good. We also have Earth Splitter and Split Earth, so can't wait to mix those up in a fight. That's going to be classic. Already done that at the major, so it can't get any worse than that, I guess. Yeah. I mean, in terms of the start for farm-wise, position 1 versus position 1 here. Lorinov, or I should say Dream on the Terrorblade, 3,600 net worth versus Sumail. I mean, it is a position 1, but it's not the same kind of position 1 that we're used to seeing.
No.
Like,
Definitely.
this is a more high up-tempo lineup for OG.
I would say that OG is kind of an on-timer. Their heroes don't really scale well. On the other side, you have Puck, Terrorblade, and the Dragonite. Dragonite not really having that good of a time, but still will be able to scale. And also Leshrac, I don't see any stacks. I prefer to see the Iron Leshrac so he can farm the outpost. Sumail gets a kill.
And they'll turn it into a tier 1 tower. I mean, this is what Leshrac is all about. Just getting kills, bursting down heroes and towers, and obviously can flash farm to a very high degree.
Look at how strong Pango is. This is the build for Thompson. Like, this hero's made for him. You go in, you have damage reduction, you have a double hit, you have Echo Saber that makes you tankier. It's 15 strength, Sunsfan. 15.
15? That's pretty good. I mean, it would be more of a Thompson here if you can get E-Blade at some point, which sounds kind of meh.
Anti-synergy, yeah.
Sadly. Oh, speaking of Thompson, he's going to get... Oh, okay, he actually dodges the stun there, but Soxa not able to connect on anything. Shield crashes there on Lorinov. See if they can try to turn this around, but there are reinforcements again for Gambit. They don't want to give up this tier 1 tower. Oh, this is an arcane rune for Thompson, so that's going to be super nice.
Yeah, you get multiple shield crash off in a fight. So he goes for 4-4-1 build, maxing out the shield crash. 18% per hero times 5. That's a lot. You can do the math.
That's
on
good math.
stream. That's quick math right there.
Get that
without
calculator out. I mean, I'm interested to see what talents he goes for because, you know, back when Pango was kind of a mid, people would switch around a bit here. But
yeah,
in pubs, people just go for... Lukey goes for the mana region, but everybody else goes for the
we're
range.
talking about the good players here. It's, you know, Swashbuckle slash range is something that you want to have. You have a bottle, you have Echo Saber, which provides you with a lot of mana, so you don't definitely need to go for it. I'm
Oh, we're going to see a hook shot, though. It's going to connect on Soxa. You can see the wall come out, though, from OG. Thompson pops that ult going in. He's already going to lose a member, though. And the Cogs, this is very annoying for Pango to deal with, but the swashbuckle ends up netting them the trade.
Yeah, something that Pango does not like to play into is like Tusk, Earthshaker. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not, because you can block it off. You can also bounce off it, and he's stopped.
Yeah, we're going to see the Dragon Tail, but the Echo Song's going to be there to counter. We have TPs coming in for OG as well, and Thompson with the lucky shot and the right clicks, and Sumail's Pulse Nova are more than enough damage to get them Afterlife, and they're going to save that Tier 1 tower as a result.
Afterlife needs to be able to play with the team. This tower has 200 HP. Maybe they needed to bring like one extra hero to bring it down. Next Assassin is level 6, yet to see Vendetta. Level 7. Mixing things up a bit. I'm a big fan of Max Spike Carapace build.
Another Echo Stomp here towards the secret shop of the Radiant. Sumail gets the Split Earth off as well, and I mean, he's only level 9, but I mean, it is position 1 Leshrac, so that is a lot of damage.
That was such a baller move. You can see that he understands what the Diabolic Edict range is. He popped it before, could potentially unsleep him there, but still manages to land a stun.
Yeah, so already 2K net worth lead for OG. I mean, coming into this series, like, obviously Gambit made it to the major. OG not so much. Would you have given the favor to OG in the series? Like, are they the favorites here?
I would say so. Kind of was impressed and not at all by Gambit. I have the mixed feelings. They did a bit better than I expected, but decided to swap their position. 5-player, BZZ is out, Aina is in.
Pango, watch buckle, but there's a foil on a couple of heroes, and no ult coming out from Thompson as a result. But they're just going to use it to back off here. Earth Splitter came out as well, but going to find themselves a clockwork kill. Thompson continue to right click to see the Echo Saber want to work. Double damage, or double kill for Thompson.
Double damage with the double hit
damage, double kill.
Yeah, it's a quadruple.
I think that's it's 2 to the second power to the second power. So
okay,
it's more than that. Do the math at home again. Good luck.
What did he buy? He bought a Power Tread, so that's gonna make him even more tankier. I love that. Has a Maelstrom queued up next. Might swap things around. We'll see if he commits for it. I also seen Echo Saber Basher build if you don't have enough lockdown. I've seen either Diffusal Blade or Maelstrom, which Maelstrom's completely fine. So and he also wants to have a shard to be able to protect himself against the top coil.
Yeah, the shard's really good on Pango, but after this damage item, with whether it be the Maelstrom or whatever, do you go for Ags this game? Is that actually
I love Ags.
I think it's amazing. And then that means you have to go for that 15 talent, the shield crash.
That's what I was thinking about. I don't think he's even gonna get level 10 talent. Just
yeah, you just
wait, skip it, and then because usually before it was always plus 3 seconds on the Rolling Thunder. I think shield crash, CD and ball might be a better here, especially if you want to go for Ags.
Afterlife getting the initiation down here. Looks like they'll find the easy kill on No Tail. But yeah, ever since they extended the duration of the ult by default, they kind of switched it around a bit. We're seeing more people get the shield crash talent as a result, but not a whole lot of right-click Pangos coming out overall. So, again, pretty excited to see it. And I think getting that shield crash talent against Cogs is extremely important, because sometimes you can screw it up and go the wrong way, and you'll still be able to fight if you have that shield crash down.
Yeah, no one likes to get the cog blocked when you play Pango.
Or in real life either.
Yeah, that is also true. Seb, we didn't talk too much about him. Just doing the Seb job. Has Hood. I've seen a lot of Aghanim Scepter Rush on the Darkseer. I don't personally think that's the build. It's
in general or this game?
In general, it's just straight up stats. You don't provide anything to the team. It's more about
you give them 300
I play for myself. Yeah, but still you need to be able to farm it. With the Hood, let's say you get a casual cloak, you survive because of it. Then you have a ring, which makes you healthier, also survive because of that. Maybe you upgrade it to the pipe, also for the team.
Okay.
I'm a team player Sans fan.
I feel like team players can still get away with getting Ags and saying you're a team player. That's my argument here. Because you're giving HP to people, you know? But it did look pretty underwhelming in the game
really
that I've seen, I will admit. It sounds cool in theory. I mean, so does the shard, the normal punch.
Sounds great.
Dependent. As we're going to see a kill here onto Afterlife. Sumail just continuing the onslaught here is the 4K network lead for OG. They only have 4 more kills than Gambit, but they've just been getting these towers. I mean, that's the power of the Leshrac.
Radiant's middle tower.
Without Leshrac, they just don't have enough damage. I already mentioned that you can get away with something more greedy. Thompson,
Yep, hook
shot on top
cancel
of
that
it.
rolling thunder. Now he's going to finally get it off and just create a little bit of space here. But Emergent now on the run.
They
Green.
see me rolling. They don't care.
Oh, there it is. That was a pretty long TP. But Emergent will find his way to the grave as a result of this. But could have been worse for Gambit. Only lose one. I assume they'll loosen. There we go.
There we go.
I'm the prophet.
Yeah, and he goes for the basher, which I really like. I mentioned the 3 different builds. Let's see that TP. He was out. He actually was out already.
Oh, man. Game's in beta. I mean, it depends on the tick rate of the server, right? That's a whole Counter-Strike thing. I'm sure that's very relevant here. But that's as close as it gets. All right, well, OG now amalgamating towards this middle lane, and Mr. Lacoste, Sumail. Again, this tier 2 tower is already at half HP. They don't have a crazy... It's an okay Roche lineup, I guess. Anytime you have a Pango, it's doable.
Pango just contributes so much. You have that lucky shot, minus armor, and yeah, going into Basher, which also makes him a bit tankier, plus 10 strength. He loves to build this item that just give him straight up strength out of nowhere. Belt is 6, suddenly it's 10. Same goes for Echo Saber, 10 to 15.
You love doing math on stream, I've noticed. It's good to know. Maybe I can come up with some
Quick
formula
math
for you at some point.
Incorrect answers. People enjoy that.
All right, we see the wall from Seb into the vacuum as well. He's getting... I mean, he got a human version of Dragon Knight, not the best. Blink out, Afterlife. Soxa does connect on the Impale. And this is going to be a very long, drawn-out kill on Afterlife.
He gets the carrier. Like, this is worth it already.
Indeed. Let's see if he gets a taunt off before his untimely death here.
Got another TP. Let's go.
Yeah, just got to wait for that cooldown. All right, he could get out of this. I don't think they want to even chase other than as Sumail gets a kill. But we're watching the more important chase here onto Afterlife, who has to walk the entire way around this map.
Yeah, all eyes on him.
All right, blink up in 4 seconds.
Calling Blade.
So I think Soxa has just given up.
Soxa is just done. He might get a return kill. Imagine if he just jumps him now with 1 extra hero.
Yeah, he has Dragon Form, but yeah, no reinforcements here. Oh my goodness, Terrorblade. I think we debated the
yeah. Sorry about that one.
Yeah, that's a giant kill. That is a giant kill. I'm going to blame Afterlife here for debating all of us in the end. But then again, like, that stun, it didn't end up netting a kill, but he's been stuck here for so long. He's going to get the Dragon Form up, and finally Lorinov comes to help him out. But again, this is all to try to get Soxa, who's trying to TP out. He's just going to expend Coil to make sure that they can at least get 1 kill, but definitely not a good time there for Gambit.
I thought Lorinov is going to give last hit to Afterlife. Meanwhile, all this is happening. OG takes down Roche, 5k gold lead suddenly, and this is their big timing. You have Eternal Shroud on Lashrak, which is great. There is a Mana Burn coming out from Lion, makes you tankier, just a great overall item. Expensive, but still a great upgrade. He also has Nether Shawl, which he is about to deliver with his career. So yeah, this tower should fall. Yeah, definitely not defending it.
Yeah, free tier 1, and I mean, they can definitely go for more here. Lashrak, one of the best Aegis carries in the game. It's cool to see Eternal Shroud. There's only a couple of heroes I feel like pick it up. I mean, in theory, like, there's a couple of heroes that are, yeah, Punch. If only he was picked more, you know, just the synergy is crazy. As we see, I mean, even like Centaur with the double edge, in theory is good, but he's just forced to buy pipe every game. It's a really sad existence for him.
Agree. Sometimes you just have to do it for the team. Like Seb, he would definitely love to have Eternal Shroud instead of pipe for the team.
This is true. This is true. I mean, 1550 for a recipe on that pipe feels really bad. As Soxa, I'm looking for an here. In the meantime, we have the Echo Stomp setting up the Rolling Thunder kill onto Ein, and now Emergent likely to be the second kill here. As there's a swashbuckler.
Overtime damage. Can I kill him with that?
Wait, blink. Emergent.
Find him.
Well, Shield Crash not going to connect. Good attempt there, though. And Emergent doesn't have TP for 10 seconds, but looks like he'll get out.
He's okay. Gambit, very good this game. Hiding inside the trees. It seems like that's what they've been practicing.
It's very important to learn the pathways of the trees, right?
Yeah, you need to know which trees you need to cut with the Clone Blade to get out of certain situations.
Afterlife has spent like 4 of the past 5 minutes in the trees.
Regeneration.
They do see Soxa now, so they could reinitiate here. I mean, Blink is on Immersion and Afterlife. But they're just scared that reinforcements might arrive for OG. Of course, if they had the vision that we do, they would have absolutely no hesitation here. There's the Dragon Tail into the Earth Spike as well. Sumail actually TP's in. He gets coiled. Remember, he has Aegis, so doesn't really care too much about this. He's going to pop it. Already a TP out to start things here. And Sumail, I think he's just going to try to transition this into a potential.
And look where Afterlife is.
Is he still in the tree?
He's like Treant Protector, yeah. He's just hiding.
Wow. Maybe next game they do pick Treant Protector. I think that might be better synergy overall. Oh, wait. No talent. Go. Not this again, dude. Not this again. You could also pick Hoodwink. That's another
one.
Tree hero. All right, well, Sumail and Seb probably doing the right thing and just ignoring Afterlife and going for this tier 2 now. As Afterlife did finally TP out.
Biggest buff to Afterlife was that threes respawn every 3 minutes. That's the previous patch, so he is kind of abusing that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bottom tower will fall. Last track with the Edict, more than enough damage. Now we even have a Lotus Orb, which is great against Lion, great against removing the silence, the Dragon Tail stun, and most importantly Sunder. There is BKB done on Terrorblade going into SNY.
At what point for Gambit do they want to start fighting? Is it this BKB, or do you still need more? As we're going to see a kill here top. Looks like Soxa ended up taking a tumble. It's going to be a trade for Immersion, so support for support.
Soxa Ion Disc available right now.
This is an item that is 100% getting
the best item in the game right now, no doubt about it.
Oh, Hookshot did miss, but the Rolling Thunder was set up again by the Stomp as Ein gets off his cogs, but he will die. As OG seem to be getting pretty much all the better trades here, but we can see that the net worth is kind of trickling a little bit more into Gambit's favor over the past couple minutes at least.
They need Terrorblade to get that level 15, become a bit more tanky. Finish SNY has some status resistance, so this arm, the slows, the stuns will not last long enough. I think this is the big timing for them. They're also waiting for Aegis to expire. Lorinov, a lot of praising for this guy throughout even the major. He did his job. He played consistently well. And now he's popping off in this one. Witchblade, Blink Dagger going into BKB. So,
guess who's in the trees again?
Let me guess. Is it Dragon Knight?
Man, Soxa might actually find him here. Oh, gonna go right past him, like ships in the night here. But only a few seconds left on the Aegis for OG. But again, that was pretty value Aegis. They got a bunch of outer towers. They got the tier 2 bot, and they damaged the other tier 2s quite a not the tier 1 top. All right, tier 2 top is quite healthy right now. I feel like basically all the games I saw in the major from the Dire side, they would be able to get 2 racks, middle and bottom, and there'd still be a tier 1 top. That was very common. I find that very interesting, but we're gonna see a lot of damage here. OG should be able to find yet another kill onto hook shot. Okay, Ein. Nicely done.
Gets out. A couple of times he tried to go for the same play. Didn't manage to do so. Casual cloak, keeping him alive. Yeah, to go back to the tier 1 tower off lane, that tower doesn't really do much. People are prioritizing the bottom part of the map, especially the mid tower, most important tower in the game.
It just feels like it's more so this patch, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times we would see the Aegises, you just go to every tower, methodical, each lane.
I think it has to do also something with some certain heroes not being popular anymore. Like you don't have a safe lane Lycan, you don't have position 5 Enigma, which could stay there and take the tower with the Eidolons and the Necro units.
That's
Radiant's
true.
middle tower is under attack.
All right, top.
Sometimes I think of an answer like right on the spot. If you asked me like 5 minutes before, I would probably give you a different answer.
Okay, you want me to ask you that question again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, I got you. So like you said, Basher was finished onto Thompson, going for a BKB next.
Radiant are scanning.
He was thinking, I've seen Lincoln Sphere queued up to be able to protect himself against the line initiation, Dragon Knight, possibly Sunder. But with the BKB, you can snap the coil.
X is here. Lorna popped the BKB very early. Yeah, that's an unusual pickup, but it's going to be used to take out Thompson pretty easily. Now, hookshot comes in. I'm not able to trap Seb inside those cogs, but No Tail might be the sacrifice for OG. So Gambit get a couple pretty valuable kills here, and obviously the Thompson being the main one.
And that's a big one. We've seen Lion in this fight having a shard, so 3 mana drain, becomes spell immune, you don't care too much, like you can kill instantly illusion from a Darkseer wall. One of the best shards in the game. I say that quite often, but definitely is.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I do that a lot as well, as Ein able to be taken out by OG in the meantime, so it's some sort of a trade themselves.
I hope people are not paying attention. If they write stuff down, it would most likely be 15 shards in top 3. Like, we would have to squeeze them in.
Yeah, I've done this. I usually say top 5, but it's like 15 of them, right? So just have to make a list one day to be able to prioritize that. As I mean, at what point in this game does it become too late game for OG? Like, what's their time?
Soon, 35 plus minutes. It's going to be a bit problematic for them to take the fight. Like,
you think they need to finish it by the time second Roche?
Yes, this is their big timing for OG. They need to take the second Roche, which may respawn in 3 seconds. Rocket scouting things out. Let's see the respawn timer. Minute and 45.
Okay, so they'll have to wait a little bit longer than average. But there's a smoke now from Gambit. See if they can find a nice pick off here, as they're starting to cut into this lead just a little bit. But again, we've talked about it before. The late game is definitely on their side. They just need to survive another 10-15 minutes, and then they'll probably be favored. I mean, Dream, he has his BKB as well. They're actually, I mean, we'll talk about the BKB on Puck. He's going to pop it again on Lorna very early. The coil, they're focusing just on Thompson, and it looks like they should be able to take him out. Earthsplitter does come out, but it's a little bit too late. Big kill onto Thompson for Gambit, and with that, OG likely will try to fall back. Soxa completely managed right. Okay, that gets a beautiful back well into the Pulse Nova. They just 2 kills right off the bat, and Dream pops his BKB, now focusing on Sumail himself. Bloodstone's pops, it'll keep him quite healthy. In the end, for 3. Thunder not able to get it off. So many illusions for OG now. And Ein trying to walk away here. With that Ion Shell ends up netting himself a double kill and an ultra kill overall for Lorinov. This was such a weird fight. You lose Thompson right away, and then 7 initiates, and it looks really good for OG. Basically, everybody dies.
We can see the power of Puck. They don't have the real stunner. They don't have a silence in this game. Unfortunately, Pango does not have it anymore. It's been quite some time. But yeah, they don't have that initiation. They get a good jump on Nyx Assassin. They proc his Eon Disc, and then he's straight up dead. We've also seen the power of wall illusions against the Terrorblade. Also, I think Clockwork misplayed there a bit. Trapped his TB inside the cogs, so he could not move. Lashrak against TB matchup, I really love TB. Like, usually you would think Lashrak goes in, clears the illusion. He's relatively tanky. I like the casual plate mail, which gives you a bit more survivability when you get close to him. And if you pop a Bloodstone, which he did, so yeah, there is burst potential. So Lorinov, as we already praised him, 11-1-1. Going into Dagon next after finishing this BKB. If you're wondering why BKB, you're playing against the Nyx Assassin, you're playing against, like, there are a couple of stuns that he is afraid of. It's mostly Nyx Assassin. Like, he can't play aggressively on him, jump, proc Eon Disc, then burst him after the Eon Disc is gone.
When you play Pango, what's the neutral you hope for? Because I'm always begging for Mindbreaker.
Mindbreaker is one for sure.
I don't have it yet.
Old school silence plus a disarm combo.
Yep, and it adds damage to each swash as well. It's actually crazy item. It's OG. All right, they got the BKB very early into the coil onto 2, and it's going to be a quick kill likely on the top side, but no Aghanim Scepter on Puck, so he will just roll right out of that. So they're going to turn this around with the Earth Splitter, buy back onto the Lion now, and Afterlife trying to reset. And now the Pango ult finally comes to an end.
Yeah, that shard keeping him alive there, allowing him to use the ulti, going into Lengthen Sphere, getting very close to it, so the blink initiation from either Lion or Dragon Knight will be nullified.
Oh, that's a big kill. Spike Carapace, beautifully done. And that is a dead Puck. That is a huge kill for OG, and on the back of it, a couple more supports to kill. Now they can get second Roche, they can go for towers, they can do a lot of damage to these buildings. No buyback for anybody on Gambit.
Roshan is up. I think it's safer play to just go for the Barracks. Sumail already popped the Edict, so half duration already gone.
They're still should be able to get a. I mean,
Oh, Puck doesn't have a buyback. That's a big
Radiant's
one.
none of them have it right now, but
Attack.
10 seconds left on clockwork, so
Radiant's
it's basically
middle
Lion and
tower
Puck
has
out of it
fallen.
for this fight. So it will be a set of racks in favor of OG. who,
Radiant's
again,
middle barracks
Gambit
are
were
under
starting to
attack.
come back.
They were. There was no Terrorblade in that fight. He had
Radiant's middle
meta
barracks
available when
has
I
fallen.
clicked him. He's going also into
Dire's
full
bottom
Bloodthorn.
tower is under attack.
It looked intentional.
Dire's
I mean, it's
courier
okay
has been
item.
killed.
You have the silence.
Dire's courier
You
has
have
been
crit
killed.
on every single hit.
Dire's bottom tower
Maybe
is under
Scotty
attack.
would have been a better choice. Dream had some shaky performance, if you remember, during the major, especially on Faceless Void.
Oh boy. I mean, a lot of people had some iffy performance on Faceless Void that tournament, that's for sure. As we're going to see Iron get off a rocket play. He might be trying to steal this Aegis here. You can see Thompson gets off the Rolling Thunder to try to get the instant stun. He's going to do so into the bag, but into the Roach Pit. And Sumail will secure himself the Aegis. The cheese will be taken, and they'll get the Clockwork kill. Who got the shard? That's the real question.
Shard, let me see.
Probably Lesh. Oh, maybe not. I don't see it anywhere, do you?
No, Thompson already had a shard for himself.
Yeah.
Radiant's top tower is under
Did
attack.
Clockwork take it? No. Did somebody must
No, it's last rack, last
okay,
rack.
he did.
Sometimes it's hard to find it. You know, there are 10 heroes. You click once every single time. It's not there, so you have to repeat it. It was such a baller play from Thompson. Bounces in back and then vacuum out of the
Radiant's
pit
top
while
tower
he's
is
getting
under
stunned.
attack. Radiant's top
Very
tower
smart play.
has fallen.
And there's your item. You are a big fan of Aghanim Scepter
Yes.
on Darkseer, finally.
Oh, Darkseer. Okay, fine. I thought you were going to say Pango. Unfortunate. Yeah, a little bit of extra HP on the Iron Shell. You get the double Iron Shell as well. The double charges, I should say. Is now
Radiant's
Sumail
top
with a
tower
Diabolic
is under
Edict. 12k
attack.
network lead for OG. You see a smoke here from Gambit. This might be the last-ditch effort in this first game.
Radiant's
As
top
Afterlife
tower has
pops
fallen.
that Dragon Form. Gets slowed down a bit.
He's out
Pops
the
a
bait.
BKB. Not able to get a stun off, though, so has to hightail back up to the high ground here.
Dire's bottom
Thompson
tower
did
is
expend
under
the
attack.
ultimate, though. Gonna turn around here for now. It looks like he will be just fine. He actually did go for the Rolling Thunder duration, by the way, so definitely not going Axis.
He has 3,300 HP on Pango.
Yep, and that's not counting any of the damage reduction that you get from Shield Crash.
Radiant's top barracks
Missed
are
chance
under
from
attack.
Elven Tunic.
Yep.
Block spells by the Lenkins.
Radiant's top barracks
Effective
has fallen.
HP, I would say 11,000.
500. 11,500, I think, actually.
Maybe close to
Sumail,
1200.
Pulse Nova. All right,
1200.
Splitup's going to connect, and this is going to be a really easy kill on Lorinov.
No buyback
You see the
on
back
him.
wall combination,
Radiant's top
Afterlife
barracks are
inside
under
their
attack.
absorb, but the BKB pop from Dream. Now he has to run, but there's the bash swatch smoke combination on Thompson. Too much
This
burst
is it.
damage for Gambit to control.
And then
GG's
they
call.
call GG. Yeah, that one fight where Terrorblade was nowhere to be found, he needed to be in that fight. The second Roche was spawning OG, classic OG style, Pangolier on mid, and something that we talked about, the Echo Saber, Pango just popping off completely. Leshrak, a bit of a rough start for him. Lorinov could not, unfortunately, solo carry the game. He also needed the real carry, which was TB, to be there participating. We've
I mean, what
seen a
did
lot.
you think of the early BKB on Lorinov? I don't know if the last time I've seen like a second item BKB on Puck before.
BKB is okay. It was third item BKB. Maybe Eon Disc would have been a better choice. You have that like save. They can still burst you. If Nyx Assassin gets a stun or a Carapace, they can burst you down. I've seen nothing to say building second, third item Eon Disc quite a lot, and there's a reason why they won a major, but overall good showing from OG. King is back to safe lane, playing the mid heroes, but have to see what they have prepared for game number 2.
Yep, we'll have to see. Let's see what the panel has to say about Thompson mid Pango.
It's a royal return indeed, and what better way to pair it up than with a Thompson Pango?
bigger 4 and 3 combos that just can bring all the team fight.
Yeah, they definitely need some damage. If you pick Puck DK, like, Timbersaw Puck is decent versus him, but if there was a Timbersaw with free farm, he already has a good match for DK, and Puck will completely run out of damage against him, so that's why they banned it. Normally against Timbersaw, you want a mid hero that when he rotates, you will just kill that Timbersaw. Traditionally, it used to be like Silence or OD. Now it's a little bit more. We saw the major, we saw some Bat Riders, some Lush Tracks. These heroes actually have the sustained magical burst to kill Timbersaw.
Lion's still in the pool also if you're looking for an instant Hex versus the Puck.
Gambit wants to play with a bit of pace. When you see these heroes like Timbersaw and Mars, these are heroes that absorb so much time in the early game, it's hard to really kind of get this kind of death ball style going. I think that's kind of the indicator when they're picking this DK, they want to emulate what's happened at the major. And like Timbersaw happily sits in front of a tower, Mars happily rotates in for these kind of counter aggression, these kind of big team fights. So I'm looking to see Gambit kind of maybe tailor their draft for a bit more early skirmishing like we saw OG. You know, you lose to game 1 against OG due to this early 5-man. Gambit game 2, their development, potentially they could be subscribing to that same idea.
Yeah, I guess banning out the Willow and the Phoenix kind of goes in that vein. And other signatures for Gambit, I don't know. How about for... You think it's going to be DK in the same role as before, or they...
Yeah,
once you have the pick, you don't really have much of a choice other than sending... once you have the Puck, you don't have much of a chance other than to send it in the offlane.
Yeah, I've not seen Afterlife play Puck recently, so I don't really see the flex occurring. It is just going to be like DK offlane Puck mid, and that's why this kind of style of drafting is a little bit unconventional, because most teams on second pick do go for the like a flex core plus support style of opening.
So they pick up the Lion again. I don't think Lion's enough damage. I think he's too long cooldown. I think they should have picked something like a Scarth Mage, but I'm interested to see how they'll make it work. Lion is a lot better at locking down Void Spirit, since after he has that Eos or BKB, like, Scarth sort of might become food for him. So I can see that line of thought. It's just, I'm worried for them. Like, how OG played, how they itemized, they had the Echo Saber on Pangolier, that's 300 HP from 15 strength. They had the Eternal Shroud on Leshrac, so the 1 and 2 get really tanky, and all of a sudden it felt like Gambit, they lacked damage. They caught that one fight where Lornoff got the Ultra Kill, but after that, they couldn't take down the heroes.
And there's the Mirana, the Satsuka. Okay.
He has been playing that a bit in pubs.
Yeah.
It's a very, what to say, like free hero. You can arrow some range creeps. You can sort of, if you can leave your offlane alone, you can scale really hard by jungling.
Like some Tidehunter for OG, for example. Like some.
I can see some Tidehunter.
Because especially when you see these type of bans, the Timber, Mars, and Axe banned from a Gambit, it's like what's left really.
I was thinking they might pick like some sort of Monkey King hero, because I saw Seb play that a lot.
He's been fiending it, yeah.
He played a lot of Bat Rider and Monkey King, I think, the most. He's like 5-0 on Bat Rider in pods. I don't think it's that good a Bat Rider game. But Monkey King seems interesting. You have the setup stun for both A and Mirana, and I could see them sort of setting up where you go like a dual offlane and you let the Mirana roam with a Monkey King versus DK matchup.
Their ability, if they did go this route, the ability to kill a hero, you're now going to have 3 heroes that jump the backline. And, okay, Gambit pick up the Bane. Whew. We've not seen this in some time, but...
I don't think that hero got picked at the major, right?
There's the Tidehunter.
There's a Tidehunter, as you said.
Poppy picked it up, but not to much success, I think. And Secret got knocked out pretty easy.
Because what I think of this Bane hero is, if you're picking this hero, you're picking him for Enfeeble. But I don't see much heal on the OG side. Like, I saw Bane, he got picked against Necro a lot in pubs.
He can technically nightmare dodge these arrows, you know, he could make the plays.
Yeah, but if you want to save, you can just pick a save.
No,
right?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, the hero's not been picked for a reason. I think in regards to the game, you can apply some type of laning pressure if you have the correct carry. And in the game, you don't really push out waves. You can go for the shard to help you, but the hero does feel a little bit lost in that kind of idea.
Actually, what I thought was maybe how Thompson plays, he dives really deep.
Exactly,
and he creates a lot of space that way. Maybe they're just thinking, like, this Pangolier on Thompson, he'll do similar things as Voice for this game. If he goes deep, we want to just lock down the person that overcommits and kill them. I mean, their lineup is very single target right now.
There's a lot of disconnect in regards to OG's kind of fight, because AA
5
plays from
seconds
behind,
remaining.
Mirana kind of does that as
OG's turn to ban. Radiant team ban. OG's turn to ban. 10 seconds remaining. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome back, everyone. OG versus Gambit. OG setting the pace that we know and love them for. Game number 1, and doing it with heroes that we're all familiar with. Not necessarily from the major, but from their pool for sure. Pool. I can go for some water. Or we have this little inflatable tub, but it actually does have water in it.
But why does it have water in it?
I don't know.
Like, wait. You heard the word pool.
Yeah.
I thought of drinking water.
No. I thought
No,
of
he needs the tub. There's a little tub down there.
Thing that
That
we
would
have.
be extremely strange.
No. That chlorine is not for me, unfortunately. I'm not really a big fan of that, but I'm a fan of OG's gameplay. And game number 1, it was
impressive.
It was impressive, and I'm wondering if was the Gambit lineup too animajory?
It did have a lot of beats from the animator. Of course, you think of the DK, the line, the puck to that instance as well, and of course the Terrorblade. So I would argue yes. I just think it's one of those things where it's a game where Gambit never really were able to be proactive because they're always reacting to OG's aggression. So I think maybe we could praise OG a little bit, but I think also Gambit, they delayed the game well enough with the TB and the puck at some point. The net worth difference was only like 4k throughout the game because of how they were playing around these heroes. They just never really mustered that single team fight to get them into like a forward-thinking position.
I feel a bit like they thought about their lanes wrong, though, right? Like if you're thinking about ET last track, we saw in the recap with Purge that OG were pretty much able to completely zone them. If you're in that lane, you know your DK doesn't do anything at level 1 because he's a Dragonite. You should just bring your 3rd hero there and TP him down to the safe lane after. I feel like that really set the pace for the match, and OG just alt-tempoed them. They built items to all go on the same line, and now they pick an AA.
Yeah, so in the first game, OG was first pick as well. They banned out Brood, they banned out AA, and this time they ban out the TA instead, then going for the Ancient Apparitions themselves because they haven't banned it. In regards to Gambit's bans, they still keep the same, and Hoodwink, and also the DK. Will they go for line as well? Potentially not. This is where they could go for oh wow, let's go straight for the puck. Alright.
I guess now that they have the AA, that means the Nyx Assassin's not as big of a deal. Might feel a little bit safer picking the puck. And it might get banned out second phase.
Yeah, I still think you can pick the Nyx if you want on OG. I think the main thing is because they're first pick, you normally end this phase with an instant response to what you see already. And when you see DK puck, you're seeing your mid lane puck, your off lane DK most likely. And that's why OG instantly snap up this Void Spirit, because they're aware if it is a DK flex mid, if it is a puck flex mid, Void Spirit should be fine in both of those matchups.
It was a bit weird to pick 2 cores from second pick on your 2-3 here.
No, yeah, exactly,
you're showing what lanes these heroes are going to go. I mean, puck, you can technically play him on off lane, but you'll get pretty much any carry free from right now. So OG, they just, from first pick, they already have a free counter matchup. They're going to have another counter matchup on OG's own 4th pick. And I think the lanes will look really good for them this game.
Just checking now through the pubs of OG, there actually hasn't been anyone else playing Void Spirit across all the players. It is only Topson who has kind of at least been practicing it in pubs. That doesn't really mean much because, of course, most pro players, if in the right circumstances, can whip out a unconventional hero. But yeah, most likely, as we mentioned, this is just kind of 3 cores presented so far in the first 4 hero picks.
Traditionally, Void Spirit has been a very good answer to puck. It was a good matchup in Dota because they both sort of caught each other and could kill each other. Void Spirit would get the Eos or even just hit the Remnant. You couldn't fix it.
Yep.
And puck, of course, has called to lock down Void Spirit. I feel like with the burst from A, I would be more comfortable playing Void Spirit, but maybe we can see Gambit sort of make up for that on the next 3 picks.
10 seconds remaining.
They're going to ban out the Timber Saw, and that's a little bit surprising to me. I thought that puck would be okay with it, but we've seen that be probably the best answer to DK throughout the course of the animator, and seeing as how Gambit are reliably staying with this first phase DK. Gonna ban that out. I would not be surprised to see Undying in the hands of OG. I feel like that was another answer that we saw in the animator.
I don't think they'll pick him with A.
The main thing right now is OG, they need to go for some serious lockdown. When the confidence of Gambit picking this puck is because they see the AA. AA as a hero is great executing heroes, but is atrocious at actually locking anyone down, right? You're playing off of cold feet. That isn't reliable anyway. So for OG, I'd love to see them go for some bigger 4 and 3 combos that just can bring all the team fight.
Yeah, they definitely need some damage. If you pick Puck DK, like, Timbersaw Puck is decent versus him, but if there was a Timbersaw with free farm, You're right, it's a good match for DK, and Puck will completely run out of damage against him, so that's why they banned it. Normally against Timbersaw, you want a mid hero that when he rotates, you will just kill that Timbersaw. Traditionally, it used to be like Silence or OD. Now it's a little bit more. We saw the major, we saw some Bat Riders, some Lush Tracks. These heroes actually have the sustained magical burst to kill Timbersaw.
Lion's still in the pool also if you're looking for an instant hex versus the Puck.
Gambit wants to play with a bit of pace. When you see these heroes like Timbersaw and Mars, these are heroes that absorb so much time in the early game, it's hard to really kind of get this kind of death ball style going. I think that's kind of the indicator when they're picking this DK, they want to emulate what's happened at the major. And like Timbersaw happily sits in front of the tower, Mars happily rotates in for these kind of counter aggression, these kind of big team fights. So I'm looking to see Gambit kind of maybe tailor their draft for a bit more early skirmishing like we saw OG. You know, you lose to game 1 against OG due to this early 5-man. Gambit game 2, their development, potentially they could be subscribing to that same idea.
Yeah, I guess banning out the Willow and the Phoenix kind of goes in that vein. And other signatures for Gambit, I don't know. How about for... You think it's going to be DK in the same role as before, or they...
10 seconds.
Yeah,
once you have the pick, you don't really have much of a choice other than sending. Once you have the Puck, you don't have much of a chance other than to send it in the offlane.
Yeah, I've not seen Afterlife play Puck recently, so I don't really see the flex occurring. It is just going to be like DK offlane Puck mid, and that's why this kind of starter drafting is a little bit unconventional, because most teams on second pick do go for the like a flex core plus support style of opening.
So I pick up the Lion again. I don't think Lion's enough damage. I think he's too long cooldown. I think they should have picked something like a Scarf Mage, but I'm interested to see how they'll make it work. Lion is a lot better at locking down Void Spirit, since after he has Eos or BKB, like Scarf sort of might become food for him. So I can see that line of thought. It's just, I'm worried for them. Like how OG played, how they itemized, they had the Echo Saber on Pangolier, that's 300 HP from 15 strength. They had the Eternal Shot on Lashrak, so their 1 and 2 get really tanky, and all of a sudden it felt like Gambit, they lacked damage. They caught that one fight where Lornoff got the Ultra Kill, but after that they couldn't take down the heroes.
And there's the Mirana, the Satsuka. Okay.
He has been playing that a bit in pubs.
Yeah.
It's a very, what to say, like free hero. You can arrow some range creeps. You can sort of, if you can leave your offlane alone, you can scale really hard by jungling.
Like some Tidehunter for OG, for example. Like some.
I can see some Tidehunter.
Because especially when you see these type of bans, the Timber, Mars, and Axe banned from a Gambit, it's like what's left really.
I was thinking they might pick like some sort of Monkey King hero, because I saw Seb play that a lot.
He's been fiending it, yeah.
He played a lot of Bat Rider and Monkey King, I think, the most. He's like 5-0 on Bat Rider in pubs. I don't think it's that good a Bat Rider game. But Monkey King seems interesting. You have the setup stun for both A and Mirana. And I could see them sort of setting up where you go like a dual offlane and you let the Mirana roam with a Monkey King versus DK matchup.
Their ability, if they did go this route, the ability to kill a hero, you're now going to have 3 heroes that jump the backline. And okay, Gambit pick up the Bane. Whew. We've not seen this in some time, but
I don't think that hero got picked at the major, right?
There's the Tidehunter.
There's a Tidehunter, as you said.
Poppy picked it up,
yeah.
but not to much success, I think. And Secret got knocked out pretty easy.
Because what I think of this Bane hero is, if you're picking this hero, you're picking him for Enfeeble. I don't see much heal on the OG side. Like I saw Bane, he got picked against Necro a lot in pubs.
He can technically nightmare dodge these arrows, you know, he could make the plays.
Yeah, but if you want to save, you can just pick a save.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hero's not been picked for a reason. I think in regards to the game, you can apply some type of laning pressure if you have the correct carry, and in the game you don't really push out waves. You can go for the shard to help you, but the hero does feel a little bit lost in that kind of idea.
Actually, what I thought was maybe how Thompson plays, he dives really deep,
exactly,
and he creates a lot of space that way. Maybe they're just thinking like this Pangolier on Thompson, he'll do similar things as Voice Spirit this game. If he goes deep, we want to just lock down the person that overcommits and kill them. I mean, their lineup is very single target right now.
There's a lot of disconnect in regards to OG's kind of fight, because AA plays from behind, Mirana kind of does that as well, Tide is your team fight. Void Spirit's the only hero right now that will be going into the middle of the fight, like you said, and that's why kind of Lion Bane, of course, their strengths are, like you mentioned, killing the hero. Yeah, it has some substance.
No, I'm interested to see how it works. I mean, it's a bit hard to play Bane versus Tide. The lane is quite good though. I think how Tide wants to play, Bane has like pretty good animation and damage.
Like Juggernaut then to round out Gambit's draft to give them some skill potential.
I don't like Juggernaut. If they do Juggernaut, they have to put Lion Juggernaut into safe lane versus Tide, which is a very good lane in that. Not so good versus Potom, but I think if you pick Juggernaut Bane, you're looking to lose that lane.
Okay.
Right now, Gambit, they should think last game they
Radiant
I think they
to
lost that game because
battle.
of lanes. Like in the end, that's what they should think, because it's the only thing you can really adjust to and fix during your draft. Like they last picked this Puck against the Penguin, he got solo killed. They picked this DK early, and they went offlane. They got zoned out of the wave. They got the first CS at 2:45, as Spurt mentioned.
It could also just be like you mentioned laning phase. Like Gambit could also just go for like a Luna or something. Just go full out, just double ranged, like Bane Luna, play the lane, and then play with the DK.
I could see Luna working. If you pick Luna, you have to snowball though.
No, yeah, exactly.
Because you are going to A. The nice thing for Gambit though is that they do have the last overall pick as their second pick. So I think they should probably see what OG pick. And Luna can be an option if you still outscale them. But I think it's hard to go into a game against a team like OG, trying to beat them in the early game, tempo them, and play if you're outscaled. Like, you want to be more comfortable going into a game than that.
Looking at Sumel's pubs right now, because of course we don't have any kind of pro history on him playing carry recently, he's played pretty much all the carries. Like he's attempted to. We're
Played
very
a lot of PL.
He lost. He's played 4 games of PL. How many games do you think he won on PL?
0.
Correct. Yep. Someone did their homework. He also tried playing a carry IO game because, of course, joining OG that needs to be in your playbook. He lost the game as well.
Dream also is a carry IO player. He was spamming that during Season 2 DPC.
I think he wants to stun on Sumel. He has Potom A supports. He should pick. Okay, this is another hero he was playing. It doesn't have a stun, but it is extremely high time. I like this pick a lot. I'm a bit curious how it'll do against Dragonite and lane. Like these Neo Dragonite offlanes and Furon carries. I haven't played versus them that much.
The important thing is they can, like, the support, no matter what hero goes into the offlane, they won't have a good time playing into Furon. And I think Puck in mid lane will not be able to deal with the overwhelming amount of pressure that Furon +1 will bring to that mid lane. Like Void Spirit, Furon TPing in, taking your mid tower. Yeah, Gambit, they need to find a way just to kind of protect their towers a bit right now.
OG really like this tower damage from their position 1. Last game they had Leshrac, this game they had Furon. This lineup, if you look at it, they have Void Spirit, AA, and Tidehunter, amazing team fighters. But if they don't pick something like Furion, then you're going to just run to nothing. I think the Furion pick, it allows them to get the team fights they want, because if you just dodge them, you're going to lose objectives. Like, strategically, it's a very good pick.
Alright, so Gambit, they've already got team fight, they got stuns, galore. They need to have that scaling core that can punish a Furon carry. We saw Furon carry the major, it kind of fell flat. What did they go for? Oh, okay,
so it's a lane counter versus Tidehunter.
Yep.
You have to, like, it's very swingy though on the lane. If Tidehunter gets too much, it can be hard to push on a lane, but he can dominate that lane.
Yeah, I think the main thing for Gambit is they've kept the same core philosophy from their draft in game 1 to game 2, so they haven't varied too much, but they have put a little bit more emphasis on winning their lanes. They've got this Drow. I think Drow into Furon can be a little bit volatile, where Furon starts taking your towers, runs through the map. It could be a hard Drow game, but have that good start. If they are able to exit the laning phase with a couple items and they're dictating the pace, then it could be a better showing. But once again, OG, they have got just tower damage galore and just a desire to kill.
Yeah, and I also have been not very hot on Bane. Like Curtis said, the main reason I see it is as an incentive to discourage heal strats. Not really on the table for OG, and I think Void Spirit, and even like in a team fight, Tidehunter Ravage will just randomly clip them, making Fiend's Grip kind of useless. So maybe Comfort from Ein, I guess.
Yeah, I go with Comfort. As a 5 player who does love Bane, I hope Gambit is able to just kind of show us what the current patch iteration of Bane is, because we didn't see it at the major, and hopefully they've got kind of a new take on the hero to just kind of surprise us with it.
Which way are you leaning, Curtis? Game number 2.
OG for sure. Gambit picked 0 team fight. I think it's really hard to play Drow into Furion, and I think it's hard for them to take fights.
And the implications of this match, like I said, there is no group stage play here. This is going straight into bracket. The loser of this goes down to a lower bracket. So it's not like there's pure elimination. And the winner of this goes on to face VP. So they are going to go up against Eastern Europe yet again. If OG managed to get through this, I'm sure they're looking forward to getting some international competition going, because it's been a while since they've played teams from other regions.
What happens in the major?
Let's see what happens in game number 2. Pass it over to our caster, Sven Lacoste.
That was good of you.
Thank you very much, Tsunami and others on the panel. Sunsfan here with Lacoste. We have game number 2 for this best of 3 between OG and Gambit. We have a Bane Elemental.
Bane Elemental indeed. Definitely not the hero that I expected to see. He's been lane dominator. I checked the stats. He's been picked 3 times during the last major. Has won 2 out of 3 games, which is pretty impressive. when I was theory crafting how to counter like Vibrant Heal, he was like top 4, top 5. I like Sanking, I like Spirit Vessel Carriers, especially Invoker, Timbersaw. Did I mention Last Track? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But,
Doesn't matter, yeah, go ahead.
Sanking, so that's 4, and I think Bane is decent way to deal with the heal. It's just like you also want to have your other spells not necessarily maxed out, like Brain Sap is fine, it's pure damage. You also want to put multiple points in a Nightmare, lower the cooldown on it, but not enough team fight, something that Panel talked about in this game. They have a lot of silences, they have a lot of control, but Tidehunter should be able to get the Ravage off. He is burstable if they don't overlap their spells, if they manage to play around the Kraken Shell, but we'll see.
Begins.
We will indeed. And Sumail, position 1, Nature's Prophet. Saw this from EG quite a bit, from South America as well at the Major, and it had, I would say for the most part, pretty good success until the finals, where it was a true shellacking of Gaben levels, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we'll see how this Bane fares. Like you said, Enfeeble, a spell that has been changed about 10,000 times throughout the history of Dota, it feels like, but the name has stayed.
Yes, when Bane was picked, the first thing I did is I better check what his abilities are. Maybe there was a shadow patch, so I don't know what's going on. It's, cast speed reduction, which is... I don't know what it is. Why is that in the game? But
it's cool.
We have it.
I think it's one of those things that they're going to add into items at some point, and it's like one of those. It's almost like a beta test to see if it's used. So far, it has not been.
It's been tested 3 games during the major, so yeah, not a lot of testing. Got a good sample size. They decide to swap things around on OG, so they are putting a Mirana with the Nature's Prophet on the bottom lane, and Gambit, they are responding to it. They want to have this Dragonite against Nature's Prophet, starting with the Dragon's Blood, have extra armor, extra regeneration. You don't care too much about the harassment from the Treants, Lightstone that Nature's Prophet buys.
Up top lane, yep. Cold Feet did connect on Ein, but Seb got that creep advantage. Back into the trees he goes, so position 3, Tidehunter, as we talked about, but playing in a safe lane. Do you like how they've set up the lanes here for OG?
They wanted to dodge, but Gambit had a good read of what's going to happen. Maybe once you hit level 2 on OG, you could potentially swap things around easier with the teleportation from Nature's Prophet, so you always can stay one step ahead. Tidehunter getting extra regeneration and armor from the tower, so that's good. Not going to get harassed too much. Playing into 2 range heroes is a bit tricky. Ancient Apparition doesn't provide you with much. What I'm looking forward to see is the mid matchup. Lorinov against Thompson. Lorinov played the game extremely well, then died after picking up the BKB and Dagon 2 times in a row. No buyback, but his rotations were on point. We'll have the first 2-3 items.
Yeah, I agree. It just felt like that. It fell apart instantly, kind of out of nowhere. But like you said, the buyback was kind of the big deal. I mean, he popped his BKB super early in every fight, too. I found that interesting. Obviously, we have all the vision, so things...
It's easy for us, indeed.
Yeah, for sure. But I
That's
do
why
like
chat is so smart as well. They also see everything. Judging.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes. But yeah. I do like this combo. I've seen it quite a bit. I would assume Thompson might have to go for a boring build into Yules, but it does set up the Aether Remnant into Arrow, which would get a lot of easy kills until the early stages of the game, once you pick
That's
up
the combo, indeed. So 2
of course,
points.
it is Thompson, so he could go something.
He could go stats and the Simulate. you never know with this guy.
Yeah, indeed. But in terms of the CS, extremely even right now. And we'll see. I mean, he doesn't really have the same kill potential that he did last game. Like if you get that level 6, maybe you can do some burst damage, but I feel like Puck fares pretty well. I mean, what do you think of the matchup overall? Just the 2 heroes.
I think Void Spirit. It's Void Spirit favorite until there is level 6 on Puck. Then there's a rotation. You will always struggle against Coil. But Void Spirit's attack animation and the shield early on gives him a slight advantage. I would call this 57,
57.3.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Until there's level 6 on Puck. Then Puck starts to play a bit more aggressive. You have like Lion rotating, and Void Spirit suddenly gets into trouble. It's what ruins the most of the spirits. After this time around, having a much better game on a Dragon Knight. He's not sitting at 0 CS 5 minutes in. 18, almost at the top, so much better game for him.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll see if he ends up in the trees again this game. That's a very important factor that we have to consider. Once he gets that blink dagger, he becomes very tree happy. As Seb is going to get slowed here from Mr. Dream himself. Ein doing a good job blocking off, trying to give him the kill, but Ein will take it with that brain sap. So first blood, the way of Gambit onto Fatty McFatty Tidehunter.
Pure damage from Bane, kicking in there. Maybe Sumail can grant a wish to Afterlife. Okay. Sprout into treants. He's still going to be inside the trees.
Point. Dream. Getting pressured here by No Tail. Will be fine. I think OG needs to change their lanes, or is it just the rotation from Soxa going to be... See if he can hit an arrow. This would be pretty big. He's going to be spotted, though. And now TP's coming in from Immersion. But the arrow will connect them to Ein. So they'll pick up the support. Bane.
Even TPs.
Yeah, that... No. They give him the kills. All right, you made the rotation. We'll give it to you, big boy. No problem.
There isn't any gold. It was just the ability TP, and he goes back to the bottom lane.
Yeah, in terms of his CS, it's 21 and 9 versus, like you said, Afterlife having a great time, but in the safe lane, 28 and 5 right now. And I feel like DK, I know he's kind of considered one of these like boring type heroes, but I feel like there's almost no variation in the... Oh, we're going to see Coil mid, level 6 onto mid.
Bring a third hero.
But this looks to be a very easy kill. He's silenced for a little bit more. Took a little bit longer than I thought, but they do find that kill on Thompson in the end. Thompson not able to do much here.
And he tips and brings 2 extra heroes. It's not a solo kill. Mirana on a lane, arrow the catapult way just to be able to... There's no push coming out. We mentioned it, like Void Spirit, he really struggles against the Coil. Coil will be up in another 50 seconds. Potentially stick around and try to get another kill.
Silence.
What they want to do is have this level 6 on the Drow Ranger so she can go back to jungle, triangle. It's not being stacked at all at the moment.
Illusion.
Dream has now made his way to the bot lane, and we're going to see a nightmare setup here. And with 4 members of Gambit, this should be a pretty easy kill, but rotation from No Tail, not really be able to provide too much, though. It ends up being a nice kill onto Sumail for Gambit.
It's a good setup. Bane can set things up for Dragonite stun, Lion initiation. He could potentially sleep Tidehunter in the team fights. They will have Treants to potentially unsleep him. We'll see what happens. I think in this game, it's not even... you don't go for Enfeeble until the later stages. Nightmare, too good. Cast range gets increased. The Brain Sap pure damage is always going to be great. And there's the setup one more time.
With the Earth Spike to follow, Lorna expends the Coil. This would be another easy kill for Gambit. So, off to a pretty good start. 4-1 advantage for them. Not huge in terms of net worth, but we can see that the damage is being done in the bot lane with Dragon Form and just Drow's presence alone. Though
something
not quite level 6 yet.
Has been very popular during the last major is whenever you have a Dragonite, you can put pressure on multiple sides. Like Dragonite is there, you need to bring numbers to be able to kill him. And on the other side, you have 2 to 4 other heroes just trying to get some damage on the tower.
And right now, Thompson, despite dying, is actually top in net worth. That's kind of crazy.
And try to guess what item build he's gonna go for.
Well, I spoiled myself. It's gonna be the Echo Saber.
It's a BKB plus Orchid. No, it's not. I mean, he can disassemble it and go for it, which potentially is really good against like backlines. You have a good jump on Lion. Bane set things up. Even Puck, like Puck these days, they don't build into Yule Scepter anymore, so they don't have way to
sell things. Doing that, right? As Nature's Prophet all comes out, Thompson trying to chase, but Immersion is there. But Sumail TP's into the midst of things. Immersion looks to be what they have their eyes set on right now. Decent blocking from Sumail to start things out. More Treants to come in. Yeah, with the Astral Step and Aether Remnant, Thompson cleans them up nicely.
Thompson always finds a way to just go for one item build. Before, it was Ethereal Blade in the mid lane, whether it was like Gyro. What else was he playing with Ethereal Blade Rush every single game?
Every hero, literally every hero that he would... You said Gyro, right? So,
yes.
Who else did I see it on? Is it PL? No, that
has been killed.
Yeah, he was picking
Puck. Yeah, he was definitely going E-Blade with Puck.
I think Monkey King. As weird as that is, I saw him at least in a pub get picked. It felt like he was just trying to hit the item out on literally to make sure that it was bad. It usually was good. Thompson playing it.
Another Coil.
Soxa. He's gonna break it. But the Earth Spike is there into the right clicks and a Waning Rift of a low.
May you ride on nether zephyrs.
Mirana also
Radiant's top
gets
tower
ruined
is
by a
under
coil.
attack.
You can't really do too much.
Yeah. Well, Emergen's gonna run right into Sumail. No Tail is in the vicinity though. Earth Spike to follow. Afterlife, Dragon Tail's there as well. Ein trying to put himself in decent position, but the rotation from Mr. Thompson has come in. They get the emerging kill, and now the chase is onto this Bane Elemental, who is level 6, but feels like he won't be able to get off a good Fiend's Grip here. Gets off the Brain Sap to start. Thompson with the Astral Step faking it a bit, but with that Gush and 8th Remnant, that's a double kill for him. Can't quite get the Courier, but will likely be the Tier 1 tower now.
Now they bring the numbers. Ravage is available. Good on Tidehunter. Extremely tanky with the Nature's Prophet. They should be able to take this tower meanwhile in the top lane. Afterlife trying to put some pressure on Drow Ranger is just in the jungle at the moment.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Net worth in the favor of OG right now, but like you said, at the very least, Afterlife has been having a much bigger impact on this game so far versus previous one. I mean, they basically opened up the exact same way in the draft, right? So it's good to see that Gambit, although they're behind right now in terms of the money, feels like they're not falling into the same mistakes as last game, at least not yet. The trees are still there, of course. So.
Yeah, you can always fall back to the trees.
Sumail, and getting pressured, and that's going to be enough for a kill on from Gambit again. So Sumail,
a bit too deep
here.
He has Witchblade completed. They can go and collapse on a mid tower. Ravage once again, still available. They didn't drop it. They have a Catapult Wave. Ancient Apparition Blast is available. But I believe Gambit will try to defend it. They have Pot Coil. Fiend's Grip is available, and they're the sleep on Tidehunter. Wake him up with the trees, possibly. There's no one around him.
I don't know if they even want to initiate on him, though. They're going to get a Breathe Fire off as Seth, trying to protect this Catapult at all costs, even pop the Fortification, make sure that even more damage will be applied here. But the counter Fortification for Gambit is there. Moonlight Shadow, see if they can set something up here. Yep, they're going to find Immersion right after with the Dissimulate. Gets off the Hex, though. But there's the Gush, and likely one more right click. The Anchor Smash is enough from OG. So 5v4, and they get the Tier 1, despite these TPs coming in for Gambit.
This is pretty much a perfect rotation from OG. They get the tower. They don't use any of the long cooldown abilities. Finally, Thompson finishes his item, goes into Echo Saber. I think he's just gonna do that, like keep the Echo Saber until there's enough money to buy a full BKB, disassemble it, and yeah, turn that the Orchid, because wants to be able to protect themselves against the Dragonite, mostly Coil, just to get out of the fight.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, the fact that it's disassemblable makes this all possible. You're gonna see yet another Coil expended onto Soxa. He's been the Coil target the whole game, it seems like.
I recently played a game like that, and it's just I can feel the pain, you know. You're like, why are you doing this to me? You know, there are better targets to go at.
I mean, even with the nerfs to Coil cooldown, it's still really low cooldown.
It is. They added only extra 10
It's
seconds.
funny because in the major, like, people stopped picking this hero after it was picked like literally every game, and then they suddenly discovered as a 4th, 5th pick, and it still looks just as strong as the previous major, despite all these nerfs.
It's just overall a strong hero, has great scaling talents. He went for 25 damage. Maybe if Witchblade wasn't as strong, I don't think it would be picked up that much.
Now, Seb working towards his Blink Dagger, about 300-400 away from finishing that. So that'll give some nice initiation possibilities for OG. And I mean, they're not really, it is a Nature's Prophet lineup, so how well do they scale?
Nature's Prophet is a mean late game carry hero. Like, once you get at the Maelstrom BKB timing, AC Satanic, you can stand your ground against some of the heroes that usually you don't expect. It's definitely a good AC game against this heavy right-click damage from Dragonite. The Drow Ranger, you want to give some extra armor to your teammates as well on top of it. So Seb going into Blink Dagger next, needs 1 CS to finish it off.
And Afterlife picks his up basically at the same time, so each respective side will have their initiation ready to go.
Difference is Tidehunter has a full hood.
Yeah, that's true. He is definitely more farmed right now, so quite tanky indeed. It's actually a little surprising considering Afterlife has... I mean, he went for a lot of these smaller items, I guess, that treads into Soul Ring, but I feel like he's been farming relatively well so far.
Because he's not hiding in the trees this game as much as he did in the previous game.
To be fair, he didn't start doing that until about 3 minutes from now, right? That's when it became Treant Protector for them. We see Moonlight Shadow now for OG.
They see him. They caught a glimpse of him and Immersion.
Back out as a result. I'm not sure if this blink was spotted on Afterlife, but either way, we'll have it now. Going for the BKB next. Dream, on the other hand, has the Dragon Lance, going for the Yasha. And of course, you talked about Sumail and his build, the Witchblade and Maelstrom
of damage. Yeah, they have a decent front line with the Tidehunter. Some Treants, Void Spirit will cause confusion. This item build gives him a lot of tankiness. Magic Wand, Raindrop, Echo Saber 15 strength that you get from the item. Line, still no finger charges, didn't use it a single time. Same goes for Bane, keeping the ulti for a very long time. He was level 6 pre-10 minutes, didn't manage to find an opening.
Yeah, I mean, slowly but surely the net worth is going in OG's advantage, so it feels like if Gambit doesn't start using this Blink Dagger to initiate with the help of Lorinov, who has the Witchblade himself, of course, and is again going BKB, second item. Yeah, that works out for him. I mean, this...
I'm just thinking they have no silences, they have one stun. Maybe he thinks that he needs to be able to jump Dobson first and jump into backlines, because they can't burst this Tidehunter. He's a bit too tanky at the moment after finishing off the Blink Dagger. Shiva's Guard, Aghanim Scepter queued up, Suns fan.
Wow, that's your ready for the late game. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. I think Ags is severely underrated on this hero, actually. The AoE Gush, very strong with the talents.
Radiant's top
what is it?
tower is under
They
attack.
got 120 Gush damage at 15, and then the extra minus armor at 20. I mean, they have... That's a lot of right-click, potentially. I mean, this isn't really a right-click build from Topson, but...
From others, yeah, like... Nature's Prophet is gonna hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
No Tail. If we check his item build, he is going Hex. Never mind.
Go back to No Tail.
No Tail.
Oh, Astral Step into the Aether Render. They're gonna be able to clean up Immersion pretty much instantly.
Help of the Dominator. Queued up on a position 5 Ancient Apparition. Yeah. I've been trying to find some sense in it. I think it's mostly gonna be... There's no Nature's Prophet around him. He needs to be able to unsleep the targets. Like, you need something, possibly, to unsleep the Tidehunter in a fight.
So he's going to be putting his pets to sleep constantly.
Yes.
Nice. Very cruel man.
Say good night to your doggy.
Vanish!
Alright. Moonlight Shadow now. OG looks like they want to re-get into this triangle area, but there are sentries placed in the vicinity. Immersion gets off the Hex. Coming with the silence into the coil onto Topson. This looks to be an easy cleanup for a Gambit. They only lose the Bane, so definitely good trade for them.
Overextending there. There was no team to back him up. Sox is not fooling around this game. Same item build, pretty much. Once that E on this got tired of getting coiled every single fight.
How would you nerf this item?
For the hunt.
The recipe cost needs to be increased.
By?
For sure.
How much?
By like at least 500. It's too strong.
Treatment?
Yeah. Maybe the other thing would be give it limited charges. Let's say 3 to 5. You might need to crunch the numbers. And then it's just like you get HP, you get the mana from it. Because being able to use Aeon Disc 7 to 10 times during the game just doesn't feel normal to me.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like something that people are just picking up every game now. It feels like an item that shouldn't be an every game item.
Because there aren't too many Dispel mechanics. I've seen people trying to pick up Brewmaster, and then you have AoE Dispel, which is nice. And one more time.
Is dead. I mean, with the global presence of Sumail, it's going to be really hard to get away for any of these supports, really. So he's locking in on his BKB now, and that's probably the go time, I would assume, when both he and Topson have...
That's a big timing, yeah. That's Roche timing for them. Potentially they could even go inside a pit. Topson disassembled his Echo Saber, has BKB flying to him, so he can afford to play a bit more aggressively, can get out of that coil. Still no Ravage. We have not seen a single Ravage for 19 minutes.
He is going to get destroyed here with that Ice Blast finishing him off from No Tail.
is under attack.
Way too much damage, and this is why AA is such a value pick.
Now it's Roche time, because they got a big kill, 25 seconds without the Dragon Knight. He has a buyback, but I don't think they contest. BKB timing, as we mentioned, one on Dobson already done. This Roche goes down relatively quickly. Some minus armor coming out from Tidehunter. Lightstone not in the inventory. Not a lot of value. Well, it's all about that small items. Maybe throw out the magic one, put the Blightstone in.
Yeah, I would agree. But he, you know, Sumail's a little rusty. It's okay. Really the backseat too much here, you know.
Yeah, it's easy for us. You know, we see everything. We see that they're not coming close.
You get the rush in the end, and this is a 7k net worth lead for OG, so they are starting to run away with this game right now. And again, Sumail not quite done with his BKB, but it's relatively close. In the meantime, yeah, he's going to be spotted out again. And, well, he did dodge the arrow, but
nicely done, but dies in the end. Still no Fiend's Grip.
Radiant's top
had it ready, so right now, I believe if my math is correct, 2 minutes cooldown, has 6 Fiend's Grip available 20 minutes in. He's been stacking those.
That is okay. You joke. We haven't seen one Finger of Death or Fiend's Grip the whole game, right?
Ravage.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But OG are winning, right? They don't need
that. Is correct. I feel like Gambit needed to play a bit more aggressive with their support duo. Smoke up, try to make stuff happen around the map. Just one sleep into either Hex, Impale, even Puck Silence would guarantee a kill.
I feel like when Afterlife got that blink, that was kind of the timing to be a little bit more aggressive. Chose not to. Just kind of methodically pushing down these towers. But like we can see, I mean, again, we have the vision. 8k net worth lead for OG. Pretty freaking large at 20 minutes.
Radiant's top
a little bit of damage done to the tier
attack.
2, but with those TPs coming in from OG, they're just going to have to back now. Now top lane, Iron again getting caught and brought down. But Afterlife showing that blink dagger into the Dragon's Tail. There's a Ravage, first one of the game, but Sumail still dies. Buyback now into the Bane. Thompson popping that BKB, Step getting slowed perpetually, and he gets stuck inside that core. The Kraken Shell does activate, but this is going to be too much damage to survive. So a 2 for 2 with the buyback coming on the Bane, but again,
they still might go in.
2 cores.
Arrow will get it.
Yeah, this will be a dieback onto the Bane. Ult destroys him, and now the chase is on potentially, but the Waning Word from Lorinov has very little mana to work with. Still has his BKB available. Soxa looks to be fine, and No-Tail extremely healthy as well. Lorinov continues to chase, wants to get that Witchblade activation. Waning Rift into the pit. Actually going to be surrounded here. Has to be a little bit careful. Dodges the arrow. BKB finally popped. He will be able to clean up No-Tail at the very least. Thompson, there's not a whole lot he can do with that little of mana. So, I mean, I feel like a good fight from Gambit. Overall, they get all the cores, basically.
Yeah, they do. They didn't get rid of the Aegis, which will expire in 2.5 minutes, so OG will try to find some kills. BKB up.
Yeah, Dream and company. Sumail TP's in, and despite that BKB, that was the first charge as well. Just too much right-click damage.
Victory.
Once they get on top of her, no damage coming out from the Drow. First Ravage. Decent Ravage, you know, just overall. It's the whole team was not around. I love the aggression. Into air. The random-ass sentry in the river is going to be the death of Afterlife. Wish granted, they send him to Afterlife. I've been thinking, you know, Nightmare on Dream is a possibility this game.
Yeah, that does work pretty well. I like that. And you can put in the Afterlife there as well, right?
Sure.
I feel like they're all kind of connected depending on your theories in life and death. Maybe we need a little purgatory action as well, as Seb is going to pop that Shivas for fun just to make sure that it works. Very important to make sure that there's no bugs in the game, your inventory especially. But Sumail working towards a Satanic now, and he is starting to get quite large. Top net worth in the game by far.
That Satanic gives him pretty much the second life. Thompson, getting initiated on.
But there's the Soxa. Yules into arrow, setting it up himself with the 8th Remnant to take off the Nightmare. That is going to be a dead Lion. Thompson pops a BKB, chasing Dream right now, but he's in the cover of the tier 2 tower. Ravage in 5. F7. Pops that Shivas again. This time not on creep. Says, wow, they just blow up Afterlife. Wrong place, wrong time. But Coil onto 3 heroes. Lorinov pops his BKB, but they can't really follow this up with anything. Now that their DK is dead. So OG definitely coming out on top of there.
OG has a vision, so they see them coming from the base. Also not sure what the plan was there. They initiate on Thompson, who still has ages. I guess that's the thing with Thompson. You never know if he's just doing Thompson things and he's alone, or if he has a full team backing him up.
He has been caught out a couple times, in Game 1 especially. And
Radiant's
see here,
bottom tower has fallen.
AA Blast came in and... I mean, Immersion just got completely destroyed. The fact that you get the better of the trades in terms of the item usage as well. BKB's charge, taking out Seb. He jumps in. By jumping in, I mean, he just waddles in. But really, the kill there is on Afterlife, who just was not on the same page.
He sees any trees, palm trees, oaks. He needs to go in. He needs to check what's underneath. Yeah, the coach is not very happy about this performance.
I thought that was a picture, but it was not. Very awful there. And Thompson able to pick out Immersion. Again, the support duo here for Gambit are just food for OG this game.
And no tail. I talked about the, this Helm of the Dominator. He gets Ogre Vampire Mage, so some extra armor to protect against the Draw Ranger, which is real nice.
Did you say Ogre Vampire Mage?
Yeah, that's what Jack KBBQ called it.
Oh, I see.
During one of the third.
It's quite hideous, that's true. Great animation as well.
It's a lot of armor. It's a bonus 5 armor. I remember when it was 8, maybe even more. Yeah. So OP.
Afterlife in the trees again, but they're blown up. He doesn't have cover. Oh, now he's surrounded by this, and it'll be the death of him yet again. His nightmare has come real.
It's just too funny. He always dies near the trees.
It's like they're trying to jump.
I'll take that.
Off here potentially. Let's have that BKB. You can see the Orchid being used. He has to pop the BKB and run now. Again, it's a very low cooldown on the Orchid.
Doesn't care about the BKB usage anymore. 6-second cooldown, 6-second duration, and with Tidehunter, Dragon Scale plus some extra damage from the Treants, they go for the high ground.
This is when things get real scary. Oh, the jump in from Seb, but he gets slept right away. Arrow's gonna connect, and again, another easy kill on a support. OG is very primed and ready to take this series 2-0, and yet another support. I feel like a broken record this game, but I mean, it is what it is. SNY picked up on Drow. See how much difference it actually makes. They have to give this up. There's a siege there as well. A Blast coming in, so the siege Seb wants to actually jump in, but no, they're not going to connect with anything here. So full racks, OG, 16k network lead at 26.5 minutes. How do you think they look? Is this more Gambit kind of underperforming, or they did play with Cement like we talked about not too long ago?
Thought that the Gambit is gonna do better. Like Lorinov was once again having a really good game. It's just support duo that did not use a single ulti throughout the whole game, pretty much. 27 minutes in, Ian this now on Mirana. I love that. This is one of my favorite moves since Dota existed. Fake back, you kill the tower, you go back in, you set up a observer ward and a sentry in their base. Not the kill that they wanted to get, but yeah, they're having fun.
I would like a Finger of Death and a grip, even if it's on a creep. I need to see that it works.
Yeah, maybe even on a treant. I wouldn't mind seeing it on a treant.
Absolutely. I mean, that would be great for Afterlife, because they love trees as well. So. Alright, more treants are made, and Sumail and company doesn't have shard on him right now. Doesn't really need the extra push potential because they are just in firm control of this game.
Push now, they say.
Push them out of our base, more like it. Lorinov, a little bit of space there. Yeah. This will be a miraculous comeback. I mean, what do they need to do? Again, what's the best case scenario other than disconnections and all that good stuff?
I always try to find positive stuff. Suns fan?
I'm a very
give me a minute. Give me a minute here to try to think.
All right. Let me start this out with. You punish mistakes from OG.
Yes, that's how you do it. OG overextends. They don't have any relocating abilities, displacement abilities, no Tiny, no Mars, no Skewer, nothing. So can't really do unless OG clicks them out to attack the tier 4 towers. There we go.
Do it. Afterlife with the initiation. The BKB popped after afterwards as well. Seb looks perfectly fine though. Sumail jumps in with his BKB, and they're just destroying the supports again. Lion is the first to fall. Seb actually getting low here, but I feel like they've expended everything on this Tidehunter. But there's the Gush with that AoE Ags coming to fruition. And in the backline again, Sumail and, well,
Visit trouble. He's
they do
actually
find a
dead.
kill here. Very big kill, but will it be enough is the question. Dream trying to maneuver himself back into his fountain. Get right click, the Shiva should connect with that Gush as well.
Oh, he even catches the arrow. They try to go on a Tidehunter. They try to burst him, maybe force a Ravage while they have their BKB. He just... Not enough damage. It's just they don't have it. And they might have one more fight. 55 seconds without the Draw Ranger, unfortunately. Does not have a buyback.
Okay. See, that's the first positive thing you see. They might have one more fight in them.
That's what I've been looking for.
4v5 now that the DK is respawning.
40 seconds. Blast connects.
Yep, Sumail actually did not go AC. Went for the Mjolnir, so...
More damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is so annoying, Tidehunter. With the Aghanim Scepter plus the Shiva's Guard, he's completely zoning them out. AA Blast, shooting the arrows inside the fountain, not letting them leave.
Are they fountain farming from that far range? That's pretty impressive. All right, smoke up. All right, I think we're going to see Fiend's Grip. I think we're going to see it. All right, the jump from Afterlife. Fiend's Grip. Oh, wait. No, he didn't get it up. He gets Ravage on the side. The AA Blast will just destroy poor old Lorinov. Fiend's Grip still online, still available to use. Will he use it? They call GG. Will he use it? No. Will he do it?
He might die before the game actually.
Please use it. My lord. All right, they did
rough one. Really rough one for the support.
Now getting that milk in. That's important.
He did not manage to get a single ulti off.